Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Bridgeville, Delaware, relationships, greed, and deep-seated hatred caused the disappearances of two rivals. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We're excited. We have another crazy, crazy episode, as usual. Hope you enjoyed last week's insanity.
Where was that?
Where last week?
Yeah.
Last week we went from. Let's map out the last few weeks.
Ohio to
Missouri.
Missouri, that's where we went.
Went to Bonterre, Missouri.
Right.
Yes.
And apparently that's the correct pronunciation.
That's the correct.
It sounds stupid as shit.
But it's not in a Missouri accent. That's what I want to say the whole time. That's not. I get that Bonterre might be correct, but Bonterre ain't correct. It's just.
You even had to say ain't.
That's what I mean. That ain't correct.
Right.
So that said, but thank you guys for everything this week. Thank you for your iTunes reviews this week. All of your reviews at Purple Icon, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. Those reviews really, really help drive us up the charts. So if you have not done it yet, please get on there. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. It's really not for our ego. It's just to drive us up the charts. So anything you say would be great. 5 stars would be wonderful. And any platform you listen on, if you can review, go ahead and do it for us. It helps out a lot. So thanks for that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for any of your merchandising needs. T-shirts and new T-shirts are up. Grim Karen is up.
Fantastic.
We have I'm a Grim Karen and I'm not a grim Karen, or don't be a grim Karen. So you can choose sides on that one. Pick your side on those. And there's a bunch of, I think, Meth Falcons coming out soon. We got a bunch of weird stuff up there. So enjoy all of that.
Get into it, you grim bitches.
That's right. Also, get your tickets to live shows, because they'll be up there soon. Nashville sold out. Told you so. Told you to get. We sold out like the day the show came out. So thank you guys for getting your tickets to that. So we apologize anyone who is going to miss us in Nashville. We will be back at some point, though. Certainly. Don't worry. And we're going to announce a slate of all sorts of live shows over the course of the year very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. That's fun. If you want to hang out with us, you want to be one of our heroes, you can do that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or head over to PayPal. Use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. If you can make a one-time donation there, you can be one of our producers, who we will talk about in detail at the end of the show. These wonderful damn people that keep this show going. We must do the disclaimer.
We do.
We have to. It's one of those things. This is a comedy podcast. It's a comedy show.
Sure.
Not to say that the facts aren't real. The cases are real. Everything in it is 100,000% real, but there's going to be some jokes in there.
Thank God.
There's going to be murder, and there's also going to be jokes. There's plenty of serious shows. You can listen, and they'll discuss, in a very somber way, how the head was sliced from the body. That's fine. If that's what you're into, cool. There's a lot of great shows that do a good job.
Tons of them.
We're not that. We're going to give you details. We're going to make jokes. We make jokes about small towns. We make jokes about the murderer. We make jokes about a police force that bumbles and can't catch a murderer. We do things like that. What we try to do, what we go out of our way to do, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
Thank you.
So this disclaimer is to tell you, beware of humor. There's humor in here.
There's goddamn levity.
There is levity, so if we feel like that's an easier way to deliver the whole thing, and if that sounds great to you, we're going to have a good time. If it doesn't, if true crime and comedy should never go together for you, then by all means, please go away. You're not going to like the show, probably. If you think, oh God, was that a joke? You're not going to like it. So we'll call it a blind date that didn't work out, and have a good one.
I'm certainly going to annoy the piss out of you.
Yeah, so have a good one there, and for everyone else that's left that wants to have a good time, I think it's time to shout from wherever you are, from your go ahead and shout it from your cubicle. See how cool your office is. See if you get fired from traffic.
Is that where you want to take your chances, people?
Shout it out the window of your car. People will get out of your way. Shout, shut up and give me murder. All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Yes.
What do you say?
I like
go on
trips.
a trip. Let's go. Trips are fun. We're going to go on a trip. And I know we said last week that this week was Georgia. And that is my fault, because I messed my schedule up. And this week is not. Next week is Georgia.
Got it.
It's a weird thing that I have in my head. It's like iTunes has their funky algorithm for rankings. I have my weird funky OCD algorithm.
Something hairy dancing in your brain?
Yeah, of where things go and when, and I can't have the Georgia one after. It has to be after this one. It's a weird thing.
Because it's too close to Missouri?
No, not even. It's not even geographic. It's part geographic, and it's part just the crime and the different. It's a long story.
That's close to Missouri, right?
Where?
A couple of states away?
What is?
Georgia?
It's down there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of over there. Yeah,
it's in that direction.
Yeah, Ohio's not that far from Missouri. We did Ohio and then Missouri.
Good point.
But we had to do as different cases. So you'll see what I'm. Okay. If you look at it as a whole, you know what I'm getting at. But we're going on a trip all the way to Delaware, all the way to Bridgeville, Delaware.
Is this our number 2 from Delaware?
This is only the second Delaware. That's the thing. In Georgia, we've only had one also, so Georgia will only be our second Georgia coming up. And the reason why there's a ton of murders in Georgia. I was going to say a ton of great murders, which sounds awful. There's a ton of murders in Georgia.
A ton of juicy stories.
Yeah, juicy stories in Georgia, but a lot of them, you have to sift through the ones that are like, and figure out the ones that were just crammed through the justice system because it was, run by like, a sheriff and like 2 scarecrows that say the N-word all the time or something like that was the whole.
Gotta get him.
Yeah, so just white, black, to just poor meant you were just guilty, and that was how Georgia worked. So
that's brutal.
A lot of those southern states, you have to really sift through the shit to find out if the person actually did it or not. And
that might be kind of fun too.
It is. That's what we end up doing half the time, and our Georgia case is sort of has a hint of that also.
A little tinge of maybe not.
It maybe not, but it's a modern day one too. So we'll get into it though. But this week, Delaware, and this is some damn redneck Delaware shit right here.
Not since Marydell.
No, that was Maryland.
Was that Maryland?
Yeah, that was Maryland. Marydell Marydale, Maryland. It's on the Delaware border.
What's the Delaware one?
Delaware, we'll get to that in 1 second.
I thought
here.
this was Marydale, Delaware.
No, Marydale. Yeah, it's Maryland,
Right.
Delaware. Yeah.
Got it.
So this is southern Delaware.
Yeah.
But the whole state is like one big panhandle. So
Okay.
fuck it. This is it's a panhandle state, Delaware.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, you can incorporate your business in Delaware, and it's got some weird tax advantage. So, like 90% of the companies in the U.S. Corporations are incorporated in Delaware.
Really?
It's super weird. Yeah,
Is Delaware the one that's shaped like kind of like a mini Idaho?
yeah. You know what? That's exactly what it's
Okay.
shaped, like a panhandle,
Okay.
like a couple of panhandles.
Like they took like the first
welded together.
quarter-inch of Idaho
Yeah, it's
off.
a mini
and slapped
Idaho.
it. All right.
Or maybe Idaho is actually a larger
Rhode Island.
We're gonna have a Rhode Island.
I mean,
We're gonna have a
What
larger
the shit?
Delaware. We're going to make it to scale, but larger. That's how we're going to do it.
Hilarious.
This is about 40 minutes to Dover, which is the capital,
Yeah.
about an hour 35 to Baltimore, and about an hour to Kenton, Delaware, which is our last one.
There it is.
Episode 44. And that guy was a dick. That was a real.
don't remember,
It was a
obviously.
real. Listen to that one. Go back and listen to Kenton, Delaware.
I'm
It's
gonna give that a
it's
run.
mess. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a mess. This is in Sussex County, Delaware. Zip code 19933. Love those zip codes
Yeah.
from New York where you
The
get the one.
originals.
I love the originals.
Yeah.
It's great. Area code 302. It's 4.5 square miles. So small town, but not like one of those 2-block towns,
Yeah.
but a pretty small town. Motto. This is actually their motto. This is not a joke.
Okay.
If you lived here, you'd be home now.
I hate that.
Like a shitty apartment
Yeah.
complex.
Oh,
And 2 months rent are free. That's what it should say under that sign. Welcome to Bridgeville. If you lived here, you'd be home now. 2 months rent free, no security deposit.
utilities included.
Utilities included. Come on in.
What the fuck?
The apartment complexes of towns here. Jesus Christ.
How dare they?
That's not a motto. No. Also, a lot of the real estate companies around here use the motto, a great place to retire.
For Christ's
There's
sake.
a boatload of old people here.
Yeah.
Just a shitload of old people here. Now, history of this town, we'll breeze through this pretty quick because there's not a whole lot of history, and it's a weird thing. The American Historical Society, or American Historical Association, in a report in 1906 said, quote, there is probably no state in the Union where one would find less material for writing its history than Delaware.
Wow.
So for some reason, I don't know if
happens
everyone was illiterate there or what the fuck. No one wrote shit down back in the day. So they have of all the states in the Union, they're saying this is the least documented of what the hell happened here.
Interesting.
I don't understand why.
Are they hiding something?
Who knows? We don't know. It's not documented. That's the problem. We don't know if it's one of those county seats we're arguing.
Yeah.
Everybody's records got burned and they were like, fuck it. Who cares? You want to at least write down what we remembered?
Right.
Nope. Who cares?
It's all gone.
It's all gone. History starts now.
Right.
So Bridgeville is the oldest community in the western part of Sussex County. It's very old. The records of land transactions go all the way back to the like the early 1700s. So it's a long time. And I guess there was already a big agricultural community by then too. By the time there was land deeds, already people were farming, and Native Americans obviously were using the land.
Sure.
And then also Europeans that came were also farming there. So
That's interesting.
yeah,
But nobody knows what the fuck they were doing.
apparently not. I don't know why the fuck nobody wrote anything. I don't know what it is with Delaware. It's not like this town or just, it's the whole state. And you cross the border and they wrote everything down. I don't know. I don't get it. What is wrong with you, Delaware?
That is weird.
Get your head out of your asses, Delaware.
Maybe they're just like, no way they're letting us keep this land. Who gives a shit
Yeah,
about writing
just
it down?
forget about. I don't know if it's just lazy. They just end of the day they were like, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
You need to write down your
I'll do it
experience
tomorrow.
for history.
Yeah.
You know, to have nope, sorry, not doing it, and just sits there wishing he had TV.
That's incredible.
To flick through.
The one guy they enlisted to do it is just the laziest dick in town.
Yeah, he's like, I don't feel like it.
Not today.
So
Tomorrow I'll get to
he's
it.
kind of an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He's not real reliable.
A little forgetful.
Doesn't show up all the time.
I was going to write what happened today, but I forgot.
I forgot. I don't know. What happened again?
Maybe I'll remember
Was that-
tomorrow.
Who told me that? Fuck, it doesn't
It's
matter.
unbelievable.
So they built a small group of houses along what is now Main Street by the beginning of the 1800s. They had started building a main street with houses, and it started to take shape as a town there. It was known at the time. It was known as Bridge Branch because there was a stream nearby, and they had a bridge across the stream as early as 1730. Okay. So the bridge here has been a big deal. They're very proud that they can cross water here.
Yeah,
that's every name they have.
Dry.
By the way, wait till you hear some of the names that were around this area of towns.
I'm jacked.
Oh, you're gonna shit when you hear these. Bridge Branch.
They turned into Bridgeville.
Now, by 1804, there was a lot of people there. It started to grow, so they put a post office in. That means you're coming into your own here.
Absolutely.
So you get a post. People can mail you shit. Now it's on. The village was formally recognized in 1810 when they passed, made it a town as Bridgeville. Mm-hmm. So then it became Bridgeville. In the 1800s, there was a water-powered mill, a charcoal furnace, a fruit drying business.
Oh.
Who thinks to do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? Dry fruit. What, like in the basement? No. Professionally.
Yeah.
Just for everybody.
No, that's my job.
If anybody needs fruit dried, I'm your fucking guy. That's it. Just sitting in a dry room.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
The dusty ass room.
The frustrating business too. Just
geez.
Looking at it. Nope, still moist.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. We tried to dry out some peppers one time to fry up some peppers for hot peppers and shit, and they never fucking dry. They just wouldn't dry out. This guy must be very
the most patient man.
It's very that's it. He just sits there. I'll wait.
It's the same guy. That's the same guy that's supposed to be writing shit.
Yeah, he has all the time in the world. That's the thing. Make the fruit guy write shit. He's got all day. He's watching fruit dry. He doesn't even have a book. He's just sitting there on a stool with his legs crossed, just tapping his fucking fingers.
Running that pinky ring middle pointer. That little thing.
That's a little drum roll. That's it there. So,
staring at apples.
Jesus Christ. Staring at them. Dry.
They had a charcoal mill. Is that what it was?
I want raisins.
Fired mill.
I'm looking for raisins. No, they had a charcoal furnace. I don't know what the hell that did.
And
apparently dried fruit.
I hope. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, go stick that shit up there, bud.
There you go. Give it a head start. Yeah. Give it a boost. The growth of the town shot up big time when the Delaware Railroad came in 1856. As we know that if there's a railroad or anything like that, or a major port,
transportation of moving goods. You're booming.
Commerce equals people.
Absolutely.
That's how it goes. So the town was laid out by a guy named William Cannon, and Bridgeville was named because they built a bridge there, and it was better than Bridge Branch. Mm-hmm. They figured sounded more townish.
Yeah.
Now they had very weird names of towns near here. They called them controversial, and I would say,
oh boy,
one town was called Murder Kill.
No.
Which
really?
That's not the weird one.
Oh, Jesus.
One town's called Murder Kill. Now
that's nothing compared to Pussyville up the road.
Well, a town. No. Well, you'll see.
Yeah.
You're actually that's more mild, I think, than what there is. It's Cockering Town. No. So Kill, I'm from New York, and in New York there's a lot of like Native American names of towns and shit like that. And my father lived in a town called Fishkill, which Kill means creek. That's what that is. So that's anything with kill in it, that's creek.
Okay.
That's what that comes from.
Murder Creek?
But
that doesn't sound better.
What, is it better than Whorekill? Because that's the other town.
Yeah.
Whorekill, Delaware.
Spelled the right way?
Whorekill.
That's
Whorekill, Delaware. I don't.
That one almost killed this whore. That's hilarious.
Whorekill and Murder Kill, Delaware.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Nothing? No.
Whore Creek.
You're not going to elaborate? How did they get there?
They fucked up Dutch names.
Oh.
There was names that were like that, and they messed up the names in translation. That sounded like it, so it ended up being Whore Kill and Murder Kill, which that wasn't what the Dutch words were. It wasn't like, Lady of the Night Creek and fucking killing a human creek. That's
amazing.
Yeah, so there was mistaken. Whorekill. So mistaken. This town begins on mistakes. We'll put it that way.
Incredible.
And they progress all the way up through this case and to this day. Wow. Whorekill.
Yeah.
That's quite the mailing address.
Murder Kill is not any better.
No, Murder Kill is not better. But Murder Kill's
horrible.
vague. That's just Murder Kill. Whore Kill's like very specific. Like you're look out.
Yeah.
You're not welcome here.
But there's a murder is an amount of something, right? Isn't there like a pack of something that's called a murder?
Crows is a murder.
Is it crows?
Yeah, a murder
really?
of crows. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I only know that. I
that's
know
like a death bird.
I know nothing of science, but I do watch The Simpsons, and back in the day, I watched The Simpsons anyway. And
okay, so you could be calling that one Crow Creek.
Homer had a bunch in his bed, and he said, "A group of crows is called a murder." Because Marge was freaked out by him, and that was to make her feel better. You have this flock of crows. He's like, "No, Marge, a group of crows is called a murder." As they stare at her, it's pretty good.
What is a group of whatever called? What's that? A whore? What is that?
It was literally a Dutch word that was like HOIR, whatever the fuck, and they just said,
"Oh, I know that word. That's whore."
They're trying to say whore, but they can't spell good. They ain't lettered. Shame we tasked him with keeping the records. I guess we'll have none. Fuck it. That's what happened.
Incredible.
So people in this town, population 2,480. And so it's not a big town, and that's up 73% since 1990.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like a lot of these small towns. Small towns have seemed to swell, and then some of the ones have died.
And you just attribute that to cold weather and people moving because Delaware's cold.
Shit. No, I think I attribute that to people moving to the suburbs.
Got it.
Since 1990. It's just
more of big cities.
More of a city, of a different. Well, people will move out, and then more people move into the city, and the people who lived in the city moved out of the city, and that's how that happens in all these different cities.
It's fascinating that the small towns has a stigma of like you can catch disease because they just run off all the chemicals there, and then big cities has the stigma of this is where all the chemicals are at.
Yeah, that's where they make them to run them off in the small towns.
Right, and the smoke is all in your town, in your city anyway. So
from your
no matter where you're going, you're getting disease.
Just enjoy it. We're a country of disease. America, a country of disease. You'll be diseased everywhere you go. That's one thing we guarantee. It's on the Statue of Liberty. It's your huddled masses and all that, and yearning to be free, and you will get a disease. So look out for that.
Incurable.
Get some health insurance.
Untreatable.
That says.
Well, treatable as fuck.
That's
curable. Fuck
no. We'll keep you alive.
Why would we do that?
Jeez. Median age in this town is normal right now is 37.8. That's average across the U.S. Here it is 60.7.
Oh, boy.
So it's about 61 years old. So
for every 30-year-old, there's a 90-year-old.
That's what we always say. Yeah.
My Christ.
For every baby, there's a 120-year-old man walking around. That's how this works. For every newborn child, there's a decrepit corpseman walking the streets like a zombie.
I like that you're so positive you think that fucker's walking.
Oh, yeah, like a zombie. So it's more frightening. If he's in a wheelchair, that's just sad. But if he's like drooling at you, that's scary.
Unless he's wheeling it, that's even scarier. His legs don't work, but his arms are strong enough to roll that fucker?
Yeah, but if he's walking, he's the undead. He's 120. You know what a 120-year-old person looks like? Like they've been dead for 20 years.
The smell of them is real bad.
Well, they're disintegrating. Yeah. They're decomposing already.
I had
nature's like fuck it.
My stepfather's dad died at like 97.
Oof.
And that man smelled terrible always. And his skin was he'd bump into a door. Not even anything sharp on the door. The flat part of the door. And his skin would just open.
Oh yeah. 97. Yeah, you're a mess at 97. You're just a disaster.
I don't want that.
You're a fucking disaster.
I don't want that at all.
And things happen and you're like, and it's not even like a big deal. My grandmother, Italian grandma, knife wielding grandma, had a stroke last week.
That's right.
And she's fine now. Yeah. She's 90, and they were like, yeah, that happens. They literally were like, yeah, wear and tear. They checked.
Like it's brake pads?
Like she's a fan belt. My grandma, the fan belt.
Wow.
She went and they checked and they go, oh, yeah, I've had a few others too, we see. And they were like, but that's, it happens. They checked. You don't have any clots or anything causing them. So it's just, that happens when you're 90.
Can't even turn your rotors. It's over.
Why'd I have a stroke? 90. That's why. That's it. That's all we can say. No other reason.
Did you check your birth certificate?
You're old as shit. You should be dead. Do you know that? You're on what we like to call in the medical profession, medically, house money. Right. Is what we teach us in medical school. So at this point, be thrilled that you're alive. So,
have you heard of a reverse mortgage?
I mean, I can turn you on to one. So Italian grandma's okay is what I'm saying. She's fine now. She's doing well. She's in the hospital for a couple of days, and they said, you're fine. Get the hell out of here. She's breaking everybody's balls. She was. They were like, I think she's okay now. She's been breaking our balls for the whole fucking time. So, it's weird. It's an older population, yet the male-female population is completely normal. Usually the female population's way high when it's older people. The 65 to 74 demographic is normally about 8%, that age group.
Right.
Here, it's 28%.
That's a lot.
So it's a lot. Yeah. All the young demographics are low. This town is for the elderly. Married population is about 62%. It's normally 50%, which older people tend to be married.
Oh, I don't like this story already. We haven't even gotten to it, and I'm terrified now.
It doesn't involve the elderly.
Okay.
Boy. It's funny. A town of all old people, and this doesn't involve the elderly.
Fantastic.
It involves...
They dodged it.
Yeah, able-bodied people. Anyway, I'm saying that elderly can't be able-bodied, but they're young and able-bodied.
Got it.
So, married population, like I said, 62%. There is the married with no children is 65%. So it is they're older people. They don't have kids.
Wow.
They're out of the house. They're swinging, giving each other STDs like nobody's business. The race here, white is 56%.
Yeah.
So normally it's about 62%. Here it's 56%. Black is 26%. So there's a good mix of people here. Asian 0.32%. Not a mix of Asians though. They're not invited to this party apparently.
Remember World War II.
What the hell's going on here? That's true. These are all people like, I fought in Korea, damn it. Like, yeah, I'm not Korean at all. Doesn't matter.
Get out of here, Chin.
Doesn't matter.
Sir, my name's Henry.
I don't know what you're talking about. My family's been here for 3 generations. I'm a professor at the university. I don't care. You're creeping through the holes in the jungle. I know what you're doing. Sir, I'm Chinese, as first of all. We've never fought in a war.
I'm from a sprawling metropolis, much bigger than this town.
I think we're from Beijing.
Right.
I'm from a middle-class family, grew up in the suburbs of, 3 generations ago. But I've been here forever. I grew up in Sacramento. I don't understand.
They did.
I don't get it. That's Hispanic is about 15% of the population here, which is about average. Religion, it's about 38% religious, which is funny. The older people, whenever we get these towns with older people, they're less religious.
They abandon it.
It's fucking awesome. It feels like, I swear to God, they're like, I lived this long. I don't need fucking God anymore because I'm still alive.
It strikes to me that these are people that have seen horrible things, and they're like, well, if there's a God, they would not let my friend die the way I just watched him die.
Either that or they plumb forgot.
Yeah.
That's all. Woke up. I'm not religious.
Which religion?
I don't know. Never mind.
That doesn't sound right at all.
No, it doesn't
sound like me.
Me? No. I watch football on Sundays. 15% Catholic here, 0.0% Jewish, which is odd. 0.0% Islam. Voting wise, in this place, in the county, they do it kind of by the county when it's a smaller town. 37% voted Democrat in the last election, 59% Republican. It's an older demographic.
Because I'm a dope, what way does Delaware usually go?
Blue. They're usually blue. Okay. Yeah, Delaware's a blue state. But if it touches water, and it's not the Gulf of Mexico,
generally blue.
It's pretty good to bet it's a blue state. Gulf of Mexico doesn't count.
If it touches real good, nice water.
If it touches an ocean.
Yeah.
How about that? If it touches an ocean.
Right.
Yeah, because the Gulf of Mexico is not technically.
It's the Gulf.
There you go.
It's the Gulf of Mexico.
There you go. So.
That's hysterical.
But discounting South Carolina.
Right.
That doesn't count either.
Do they touch? No, yeah. I got it.
There's that.
I'm on board.
You know how it works here. Unemployment rate's about 4%. It's about normal with the rest of the country. Median household income in the rest of the country, it's about $57,000. Here it is $51,000. So it's close. It's in the ballpark. It's a pretty middle class everything as far as the economy goes here. It's very kind of middle of the road. A few more manufacturing jobs than normal, more retail trade than normal. It's weird, but there's not, I would imagine there'd be a shitload more healthcare because of the older population, but there's actually less. So that's really, it's a weird little odd stat there.
They're just euthanizing each other?
I think so. They're just, it's all just chloroform and a needle in the arm there.
Henrietta's got a cough. Somebody got that.
Somebody put her down. Somebody put her down. It's just a big thing of rat poison they pass around amongst each other. Cost of living 100 is normal average. Here 103. So it's pretty close to normal. Housing is 101. So that's kind of, pretty close to average here. Median home cost $188,000.
Yeah.
So pretty reasonable as far as the rest of the nation goes. Most of the houses are, between $100,000 and $300,000, $150,000 and $300,000 in that ballpark. And if we've convinced you that you need to find a bridge and move to Delaware,
oh boy,
we have for you the Bridgeville, Delaware Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $810, which is less than the matches up with the buying cost.
Yeah.
Seems like renting's the deal to do here. I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,400 square feet. It's a foreclosure, and it's more like it's abandoned. It is rough as fuck. It's really rough. It's a shell of a home. $54,900. So yeah, at least you can afford to fix it up if you're going to buy a normal house.
More like a
it looks like they just said, fuck it. Bank wants it, let's give it to him.
Or the owner died 20 years ago in the house.
They just found him.
Nobody knew.
No one. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,512 square foot. This one's nice. It's up to date. It's, very clean and everything. $159,990. Can't get it to be $160.
Right.
Get right up to the $10 less. Found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,268 square feet. And it's very nice. It's
That's a house.
Very well put together, really up to date, nice kitchen, good backsplash and shit like that. Nice stuff. $349,900 if you want to live comfortably there. That's a lot, but that's kind of the range of what you can have from a foreclosed, abandoned shithole crack house to, a real nice house. So things to do here. Oh boy, is there things to do.
Great.
Let me tell you something. There is one thing to do, but it's a thing. The Bridgeville Apple Scrapple Festival.
Hold on, what?
By the way, this is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
Researching the show is finding whatever weird horseshit festival these towns have. I love it so much.
They forced a rhyme to it.
Apple Scrapple.
What the fuck is Scrapple?
Well, it's judging by the website, live entertainment, over 500 crafters and vendors, and delicious food, all with exclamation points. So it has to be true. Notable events include, oh boy, the ladies' iron skillet toss.
Oh boy.
So that is, I assume, women throwing an iron skillet as far as their body would allow.
Whichever way they can move that thing,
swinging around over like a grenade, whatever. The Scrapple Chunkin' contest.
What is Scrapple?
A Scrapple Chunkin'.
I don't know. Is that like the peel?
I don't know what they're doing.
I want to know what Scrapple is now.
I don't know if because they used to have a big Punkin' Chunkin' thing here, which I fucking hate. They had the Punkin' Chunkin' like American Championships here for a while, and they moved them.
Too.
So I don't know if this is apples. Maybe they're flinging a big thing of apples. I have no idea what the fuck.
Hold on,
doing.
the Punkin' Chunkin' used to be in this town.
It used to be in this town until a few years ago.
In Phoenix or in this town?
In this town. What Phoenix? Everyone out there is not in Phoenix. We're in Bridgeville, Delaware right now, Jimmy. What are you talking about?
They used to have Punkin'
Look out the
Chunkin'.
window. And see Maryland.
Used to do Punkin' Chunkin' here, and now we're doing the Apple Scrapple.
Apple Scrapple. We did both, but now the Apple Scrapple has pushed out, much like the black hand of a 1920s mafiosi has pushed the Punkin' Chunkin' out of business and taken over their spot here. Also, the Mayor's Scrapple Sling, where a man or woman who has tried to get a position of respect in the town must make a fool of themselves in front of everyone. The name of the festival is derived from two agricultural products which are important to the region, which are apples and scrapple, which I don't know what scrapple is at all.
I was on the edge of the seat waiting to find out what scrapple is.
Don't tweet us. We'll find out.
No, don't tweet me because I don't really care that much.
And I also don't want to know. I would have looked it up if I gave a shit. That's the thing.
There's too much scrapple in this for me to not want to know it the second.
The scrapple sling. People are flinging it. The scrapple chunkin'. I assume it's a big thing, like something you can chunk, as they would say. Something that can be slung or chunked. So it's got to be big. Otherwise, an apple's not that impressive if you fling that.
So many better ways with this,
I would say. And now the Apple Scrapple Festival. This is the list you want to be on, Jimmy. Okay. This is the list we need our podcasts on, and everybody wants their business on. A list as one of the top 100 events in North America by the American Bus Association. So
that community
loves this place. The community of hobos and the disenfranchised, downtrodden masses. They all feel this is one of the top 100.
60 people at a time.
I don't get it. Jesus Christ, what a mess. Crime rate in this town.
They should do an arm wrestling there called the Scrapple Grapple.
Scrapple Grapple. You can have you know what, too? It's too... You just want to put the word crap in there. That's the problem. So it's just, you can't have the crapple, apple, crapple, scrapple. Right. It's too much. I just can't. All the kids make fun of it. They rearrange the sign. You know what goes on there.
They just black out all the extra letters and leave crap.
The crap festival. Fucking crap. Yeah, go sling your crap, Mayor. It's the mayor's crap sling. There he goes. Full of shit. So, crime rate in this town, what we are interested in here for. The mayor's crap sling. That's an event that everyone needs to see.
I just saw Bart Simpson, like
the old mayoral crap scrape,
and then filling up his sling with actual crap, and then just giggling.
Here you go, Mayor Quimby. So. Property crime is about 20% high. So these old people will steal your shit. Yeah. There's some shady old people. And violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime here, is almost double. So these old fucks will cut your ass.
Wow.
Almost double.
They will beat the scrapple out of you.
Yeah, you'll be leaking scrapple out of your backside. Put your Depends on so your scrapple don't leak on your pants.
Let your scrapple fall out.
Jesus Christ. Oops, I scrapped my pants. That's the old SNL thing there. So
was that an SNL thing?
Oops, I crapped my pants, and it was like a fake commercial for a big fat diaper.
Okay.
With, old people like no one can even tell, and they're wearing like this giant fucking diaper. It's a good one.
It's like a balloon.
Yeah, it's this huge, like a big giant, like a kid looks in a diaper, but an old person like playing tennis with a big fucking diaper on.
A giant ass.
Yeah. So let's talk about a murder that happened in this town. What do you say here, Jimmy?
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your
all different.
Multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure, yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Let's talk about a murder. Let's start out. Let's start out with let's talk about a lady first.
All right.
Let's talk about a lady. Let's talk about a woman named Linda Lou Skaggs.
Yeah.
Which that's the most small town name you can have. Linda Lou Skaggs.
I knew a girl named Skaggs.
Yes, yeah.
And she looks like what you would picture.
Yeah. But Linda Lou is like, you add that to Skaggs.
Oh boy.
You got something there. Let me tell you something. You have a lifetime truck stop waitress at that point. And she has, big earrings and her hair. She keeps pencils in her hair that she just pulls them out.
It's a home haircut for sure.
And you didn't even see the pencil.
No.
And she just reached in and yanked it out. You're like, how the fuck do you know where they are?
And the bun's still up.
Oh, hell yeah. But not even in her bun, just in her hair. She's got shit stored in there. You ask for, can we get some bread? And she pulls the basket right from her head. That's how it works. She's got everything up there.
Little scrapple hanging on the front of that pencil.
That's her earrings. They're scrapples. She has them dangling. Instead of like pineapples or whatever the cliche is, she's got big scrapples dangling. You know how that works.
Whatever the fuck scrapple is. Unbelievable.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever you're picturing, that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's the thing. Don't look up scrapple.
Never.
Just
let it be.
Picture it whatever it is.
Just have fun.
What are you picturing scrapple as?
I'm picturing it's not even like a shape. It's just like a mush.
A mush.
I'm seeing like a ball. It's roundish, but it's got like jagged edges around it.
I'm seeing like a giant peach, but red.
I'm seeing
I don't know why.
I'm seeing a brown, like a brown fruit that hangs from trees that's not quite round. It's just like all jaggedy.
So it's just like a lump of shit?
Yeah.
Because it's got crap in it. That's what you see. It's got the word crap in it, so you see crap.
There's a shit tree.
You have a very A to B thought on that one.
But it doesn't look like shit. It just looks like shit. Looks like a shit fruit.
It's a shit fruit. It's shaped like shit. Shaped like a shit about to drop into whatever receptacle. Yeah. So Linda Lou Skaggs here with her scrapple earrings.
Makes those earrings look so much better.
It helps. It's much better than there. Yeah. Born in 1948, she was. And she does not have an easy life.
No.
Rough childhood, very hard life. Everyone that knew her said, always a hard life. Kind of a shitty, dysfunctional family. Grows up very poor. Grows up in Bridgeville, Delaware. Just poor. She's a typical kind of wrong side of the tracks kid. Not a good family, not a lot of money, that sort of thing. She drops out of high school, as people do from time to time. She drops out because she becomes pregnant at 16.
Eesh.
So she's pregnant at 16. It's just a very typical kind of story. And so she's pregnant at 16, which is 1964. Like mid 60s too. That was like in small town America for a 16-year-old to be pregnant. That was fucking shameful.
Do we know who who the dad is?
They used to, we do.
Okay,
We do.
all right.
That was considered shameful. They'd send these girls to a fucking nunnery and come back and then pretend that the kid was the mother's. That's what they do, just like, or an aunt.
Or they adopt it out after that. And
who wants a kid in the family? That's the real mom then. Aunt Judy's the kid's mom now. Well, she's been wanting a kid for a while, and, she doesn't want to.
It's basically what happened to my dad.
That's what happens. That was normal back then. That was considered.
Did I tell that on here?
Yeah, that was considered.
All the Jerry's.
Yeah. That was considered classy back then to do that, rather than just
thoughtful towards the child.
Yeah, rather than to admit they came from God forbid, a teenage mother.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God, the shame upon them.
Unbelievable.
It's much better to come from a phantom pregnancy of a 48-year-old woman.
Now we let them keep them and put them on TV.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing.
I don't know which one's better.
Who the fuck knows? Make a special show out of it. So she becomes pregnant at 16. She ends up marrying the man that she got her pregnant. The boy, I should say. At the time, they were both younger. I think he was 18 or 19, but they're in the ballpark.
It's illegal today.
Yeah, but back then that was considered not only fine, that was encouraged. Yeah. They were asking her, like, can't you find an older guy who's got more stable?
And they're asking him, couldn't you find somebody younger?
Yeah, somebody younger who hasn't, kind
of. She's got some miles on her, son.
She's kind of worn out by 16. You know how these girls are. You got to get them when they're, 14. That's when they're at their prime. Back then, God, people were disgusting.
Whore kill?
Murder. People were fucking disgusting back then, by the way. That was okay to do.
Terrible.
Why was that okay?
I don't know.
Why was that okay?
I choke on
Parents were okay with that.
Right.
They were like, oh, look at he's a nice guy. Look at him. He's got a good job. And he's 28 years old. Your daughter's a freshman in high school. The fuck is wrong with you? They were like, I think this is a good move for her. Yeah, who knows? She might not find another one like him. Like, what? Terrible. So what? Leave it. Let her fit. What the fuck is happening?
Well, I mean, what if she ran into the president when she was 3 years old and he was single? You want her to marry him too?
Yeah, what the hell? Why not?
I mean, at some point you got to draw a line and be like, this is where it's at when they're old enough to do this.
Out of the house, and we don't have to pay for her. That's how parents used to look at it back then. You take care of her now.
She's cost me 16 years of money.
Her and that feeble female brain can't possibly make a living, so somebody with a job is going to have to take her in. So I'll pass her off to you. It's weird. So anyway, Willard is her first child. She voluntarily names her child Willard at age 16, which, I mean, you're 16, you don't know. And then later on has a second child, a daughter, and names her Linda. So we have a junior situation, which, as we know, is never okay. No. For men or women. Right. Junior's never all right. Don't name your kids after yourself, please. Now, her first husband, they're we say first because there'll be others.
Oh, boy.
She is, they're struggling along like many people who drop out of high school to get married and have kids tend to struggle financially. Yeah. Usually your top earning years aren't 17 to 21.
No?
They're your top money earning years in people's lives. Right. So they're having a tough time and they're struggling, but they're getting along and they're a family and they're, it's going all right. And then one day, her husband is killed in a car accident.
Oh, shit.
Just out of the blue car accident. Dead. And now she's
sitting there uneducated in
her mid-20s with two kids.
Oh, Jesus.
And a, 10th grade education.
Yeah.
And, in a time when, I don't even think back then there wasn't probably a whole lot of programs that would help a single mother go to school or get training or anything like that. This was just well, you're fucked now.
There it goes.
You better find another guy quick, huh? Oh boy, I don't know what one's going to take one with two kids.
And what year was this?
Boy, this is 1973.
Oh, fuck.
So,
cars just started getting real fast.
This is.
He probably had a bitchin' car.
Yeah, I doubt it.
No?
He was poor. He probably was hit by a bus because his car stalled in the middle of a fucking intersection.
Poor people always have
goddamn vapor lock and fucking plow. Next thing you know,
it's all over.
What the hell was that goddamn
show? Texting and driving commercials do it all the time.
That was the beginning of the HBO 6 Feet Under. That show.
Oh yeah. With the hearse.
With the hearse, yeah. That's what I see in my head. Just shit, but it stalls not lighting a cigarette. So anyway,
it's just those poor people always have the fucking best cars in the 70s, like the fastest.
Oh, in the 70s, because people knew how to work on cars back then, and you could work a car.
Right
now, you get a nice car from the factory. factory or you don't have a nice car.
Right.
You can't get a piece of shit. And I juiced it up. Well, that would cost you $40,000 now to do that. You might as well buy a nice car.
And it's worthless and it's unreliable as fuck.
Yeah,
you
good
just put
job.
all those parts on it that are now going to break.
Sounds like a dirt bike.
Right.
Good. You voided your warranty, dummy. So
it sounds like a dirt bike.
I love that. Oh, good. Your $70,000 car sounds like a dirt bike that you could get for $600 on Craigslist. The big quality of it was runs nice on the listing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So her first husband's killed. She's got 2 kids now, and little Linda, little Willard, she's got to try to make a living, and she works multiple jobs at a time, and they're all menial. They're all for not a lot of money. Mostly, if you make a shitload of money, normally you don't have more than one job. Is the thing. So you can tell usually how much money someone's making by how many jobs they have.
Right.
And she's working multiple jobs at once. She drives a bus here and there. She works at a department store in the evenings after her bus shift in the day, and so she's hustling though. She tries to make ends meet. She's always employed. There's never a time where Linda's lazy or people are like, "Come on, Linda, you got to take care of your kids." Like Linda gets out there, hustles her ass off, takes care of her fucking kids, and makes a fucking living for herself, no matter how hard it is for her. And everybody says that about her. Like every job she had, she'd get a promotion, she'd get a raise. Like she's very good at work, and she's very studious. She just got pregnant when she was 16 and dropped out of school. So that happens. But within a year of her husband's death, she finds another guy.
Yeah.
Which in the 70s, that was like, that was the answer.
Yeah.
Find a man, which.
Also, it's kind of lucky because in the 70s, you already got 2 kids.
Yeah.
One's questionable.
Yeah.
You have 2. Fuck, are you?
In the 70s, they look at you like you were, some sort of. You're
hussy.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
You're in your 20s.
Yeah.
You got 2 kids and no husband?
What's wrong with
God. You might as well be on fire at that point. Like, you might as well have open running sores on your fucking mouth. Like, that's how people looked at it.
Your gums bleeding.
No, nobody cares. Like, everybody's divorced with kids. Like, nobody gives a shit about that. It's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Like, you got kids, so do I. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Also, the easy icebreaker there is, oh, my God, you got 2 kids and you're in your 20s. What's wrong with you? Nothing. My husband was just hit by a fucking bus.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Have you
unlucky.
seen 6 Foot Under? No, that doesn't come out for 30 years.
It's unlucky. Wow.
Can I take you to dinner?
Okay. Tell you what, I'll pick you up. Don't take the bus.
Yeah.
I'll just pick you up because I know you don't have a car. Don't take the bus. That's because she shows up sobbing. So she meets a man named John Charbonneau is his name. Charbonneau, by the way, in case you're wondering. Charbonneau. And I've typed this so many goddamn times this week that I even know how to spell it off the top of my fucking head. This is within a year of her husband's death. She meets him. He's about 10 years older than her. He's older. He's divorced, and he's just a guy just out there in the world, of divorced guy. He doesn't have any kids. Just looking for somebody. Meets her, and they get along, and so she moves in with him. This is within a year. Brings the 2 kids, moves in. Everybody said that he treated her like a queen. He treated the children like they were his own, and basically just moved in, and it was like, oh, looks like everybody thought they were his kids. Nobody ever thought anything, different about it. They got along super well. He was very nice to her. That's one thing that no one ever disputes back then, is he treated her like a queen in the 70s, a disco queen. So she moves in with him, and they end up having another child.
Really?
Now, there's some discrepancy here whether this is his child or not. In certain press accounts, it says that this is her child. In an episode of a TV show, it says this is his child. Court documents say that John is this child's stepfather, though.
Okay.
So they repeatedly say and make clear that John is her stepfather in court documents. So the timing of it, we don't know if while they were getting together, if maybe she was seeing somebody else, and this is cloudy. So we're not sure of the origin of the child that's about to be born.
Got it.
John doesn't give a shit, raises it as his own, and thinks it's his kid, and is happy to have it. Okay. They have another child. This is named Melissa here. This is in 1973. They have a child named Melissa.
Okay.
Now, Melissa, they spell like a fucking moron.
No.
Mellisa. That is not how you spell Melissa. That is the actual legal spelling of her fucking name. This is a woman who was on painkillers and gave the wrong spelling. This was, she's recovering. And the nurse, rather than being like, "Are you sure?" She said, "Sure," and just wrote that down.
She turned to Charbonneau, and he even was just like, yeah, that's what she wants.
That's fine, whatever. I don't care. My name's John. I don't know how to spell things. Who cares? And so now after the baby's born, they say John is even more engaged at the home. He cooks, he cleans, he treats everybody well, he does things and helps out. Problem is, one thing he doesn't do very well is work. He's not good at making money is his problem. Not good at holding it.
6 mouths to feed.
He's got a lot of 3 kids. Yeah, five mouths to feed.
Isn't there Melissa too?
Mellisa. There's Mellisa, 2 other kids, John and Linda. That's 5.
Mellisa is a stepdaughter?
Mellisa, we don't know if it's a stepdaughter.
Right. That's the one?
Yeah, he had 2 kids.
Okay.
She had 2 kids. They came into the house. They have another kid, Mellisa.
Somehow I thought there was a 4th.
No 4th kid. So, problem is, 5 people still enough.
It's too many.
And 3 kids, especially.
With no job.
3 small kids. Yeah, a lot of temporary employment, a lot of, a couple days of construction, and then just a lot of temporary day work and things like that. And they can't ever find a job that really suits him that he can hold down. But it's not completely perilous and ruinous for the family because he gets a disability check as well.
Oh, that's nice.
He's got a heart problem. Apparently, a few years before this, he was diagnosed with a heart problem, and they told him he wasn't supposed to live more than 4 or 5 more years because his heart was messed up and that sort of thing. But as medicine developed in the 70s and the 80s, they were able to keep him alive, and he wasn't dead, obviously, later on. So but he gets a disability check for his heart condition, basically. So that covers shit. So, but they still need extra money.
Yeah.
But that's a base though, so they're not homeless, and they're not going to be homeless.
Helpful.
They have the staples and shit like that. Now, as Melissa gets older, she becomes a real pain in the ass in her teen years.
Oh, God damn it!
She gets into drugs, and everybody says she's just in the wrong crowd, and she's into drugs and hanging out and fucking off, and doesn't skipping school and dropping out and having all sorts of boyfriends, and they catch her with drugs, and she doesn't come home for days. She's a teenage cut up in the late 80s. This is 1989. This is going on.
We picture dudes like that. Every dude in high school, that's him.
Yeah,
and when a girl does it, it's like we're like that she can't do that.
But that's weird because every one of those dudes has a girlfriend. Who's that girl?
Who does that?
Who's Mellisa?
Right.
You must have my girlfriend Mellisa. Yeah, Mellisa. Or she's got a boyfriend who's a dirtbag. Yeah.
Right.
It definitely doesn't. It's more boys I feel like than do this, but
it's just bizarre.
Girls do it too.
And when girls do it, they go real fucking
because they
hard.
can. Yeah. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
they feel safe in that environment because they got dudes that are way worse than her.
Yeah.
Around her, helping, taking care of her.
That's the thing. And and if you're I don't know how this would be sexist, but if you're a woman, like, people will give you drugs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they'll give you booze
it's much
for
cheaper
free.
To live that. Yeah.
It's a different lifestyle than if you're a 16-year-old cut up boy. You have to pay for everything.
Or go steal it.
Or do whatever. If you're a 16-year-old girl, because of scumbag 16-year-old boys trying to get in your pants, they'll give you anything you want if there's a possible hand job at the end of the rainbow here.
Or better.
Or whatever. Jacks are better. We don't care.
Yeah.
Literally, jacks or better. Just jack or better. That's all it is.
That's a fun game.
Wow, okay. So, I never came up with that before. So, anyway, she ends up leaving home at 16, Melissa. So, it's so weird that no matter what the patterns just come, it's so strange. Even if everything else is not the same as what you grew up in, it's just patterns are so weird. She leaves home at 16, and so this is 1989. After she leaves home for the next 10 years or so, John and Linda stay together. All the kids are now out of the house because her older kids were already gone. So it's just the 2 of them left, and all they do is fight. They spend the next decade fighting with each other, just arguing all the time. Everyone that hangs out with them is just like, Jesus fucking Christ with these two.
Why don't they get a divorce?
Constantly fighting,
also,
bickering,
he should just be smiling every day because he's still alive.
He's alive. He's happy about that, but he is. They just don't get along, and they've been together for 25 years. They've had the kids, and the kid left, and I'm sure they fought a lot over their daughter being a delinquent. Yeah. So that causes fights with the parents, and then once she leaves, it's your fault, and then maybe that let it. Who knows what the psychology is behind it? But they end up breaking up in the late 90s.
Great.
They break up finally, 97, 98, and it's a gradual thing. I don't know if you just leave when you're together for 30 years or if it's like, we're broken up, but I'm not going to pack for a while because I'm pretty entrenched.
Right. It's tough to do that because then you're wandering around the house packing up all your shit. By the time you get to wherever you're going and you move in, you're like, I knew I was going to forget some shit.
Yeah.
And you remember 12 things that are still there.
Yeah. So they end up breaking up, though, finally. And within a few months of this breakup, Linda has found another man.
Wow.
And she is shacked up and hooked up with this other guy and ready to move on with her life, which, hey, good for you.
Good for her.
Good for you. Problem is, small problem here, the man she finds, his name is William Sproats, which sounds like a euphemism for a taint.
It does.
My sprout.
Yeah. It's plural.
Kicked me right in the sproat, man. It hurt like a son bitch. Jesus, I got a mid sprout and then a top sprout. Don't ask me. Don't ask. It's a medical. I'm in medical journals. And it's pretty crazy.
I can't sit down. I went to the doctor. I got the sprouts.
I got sprouts all over my body.
They're all over my ass. I got sprouts everywhere.
He is 7 years younger than her.
Yeah,
the sproutsman here.
And
he's 7 years younger than her. He grows up having 3 brothers and a sister.
Okay.
So he's one of 5. He's worked all around. He worked as a general laborer for Davidson Coleman. He worked in different mills around, just basically taking whatever entry level blue collar labor jobs he could get. He liked to hunt and dick around and work on cars and shit like that. And so she ends up marrying this Billy, which would be wonderful, except, oh, by the way, he's John Charbonneau's nephew.
There it is.
So
Yahtzee.
That's a problem.
What the fuck?
So, and he's 7 years younger than Linda.
Oh boy.
Divorces John, marries his nephew within months of them breaking up, of Linda and John breaking up. So this is a Jerry Springer episode right off the fucking bat here.
He's been saying some real nice things every year at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
one day.
What I mean? She's keeping an eye. Ooh, Aunt Linda, look at you. Ooh, baby. I don't know. Something about Aunt Linda goes in to baste that turkey and bends over. It's just, I don't know, man. I want to push in her button and see if she's done. You know what I'm saying?
I want to give her my sprouts.
I want to give her the sprouts. Let her have a sprout or two for herself. So they get married. John, by the way, not cool at all about this.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
He's not cool with it. He's not like, oh, well, you know what? 2 people are happy.
That's so nice.
I just wanted 2 people to get together and be happy, so I'm just thrilled with the 2 of you. You know what? Christmas is at my house this year. You guys don't even bring a dish. Just come. You're the guests of honor. He's instead super fucking pissed off at this, as you might imagine.
Sure.
As I probably would be too. He's got to be thinking, have they been fucking this whole time?
Of course they have, sir.
You think maybe? Problem with Billy is a fucking bum.
Yeah.
Billy, I don't want to say he's a bum, but he lives on people's couches. He doesn't really have he is not established at all. He's in his late 30s and he's not even close to just having his shit together. He's just kind of a mess. I'm sorry, he's in his 40s and he's a mess. He lives on people's couches. When he does have a home, like his friends would say, they'd go over there and there'd always be something off. He wouldn't have electricity one time when they go over, or he wouldn't have hot water, shit like that. Like there was always a problem. And then he'd be in the process of being evicted while his water's being turned off.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
He's Craig with no sugar in the Kool-Aid and got ham, no burger.
He's got nothing. Yeah, he's a fucking mess.
Right.
So Linda moves into this environment, and she's been used to John at least, and her and John together have at least provided like a stable there's electricity and food in the refrigerator and shit like that. Like when you flush the toilet, it goes away.
Right. That's nice.
At their house.
Isn't that convenient?
Over here, not so much. You never know.
Still there.
It's a risk. I go, should I flush it? Give it a shot, honey. I don't know. Give it a shot. Well, if not, there's gloves. There's gloves under the sink. Just grab it, I guess. I don't know.
If it doesn't go away, we'll all just keep peeing in the top tank, and then we'll just open it up.
Get the kitty litter scoop.
Good Lord.
What the fuck?
You're going to flush it with piss.
That'll help it.
A nice piss flush. Perfect. So she lives with this for about a year and a half or about a year. And then she says, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm getting up there in age and that sort of, I can't be living with no electricity in a fucking flop house. I'm worried if we're going to be evicted at the end of the month. So Billy, it's been real, but I'm going to divorce you as well. So this is going to be my second divorce of a person in your family.
Right.
And I'm going to leave you. And since I'm leaving you, I don't know what to do. I know. I'll move back in with John.
Is this really what happens?
This is what happens.
Oh, boy.
So she leaves Billy, the nephew, to move back in with her ex-husband. So now she's technically still married to Billy, but living with her husband, who's now her ex-husband,
right.
John.
And her husband's uncle.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is small town murder. This is what it's all about right here. When we have to explain relationships as far as now, who's married, the uncle or the nephew? Both of them. Oh, okay. That's small town murder.
Oh, well, I'll be a husband's uncle.
Fuck. I'll be a husband's uncle. Oh my goodness. So, she leaves Billy. John's happy to have her home.
Yeah.
John's excited. John is jacked up. He's like, my marriage is back together. Somehow he forgives the whole thing. Him and Billy aren't real tight still.
Shit, no.
They're not watching NASCAR on Saturday or Sunday or whenever the fuck NASCAR's on.
I think it's all weekend.
I was going to say, it seems like it's always on, so I don't know. One of those things. But none of that shit. They don't hang out or anything. And also Melissa, who is now 24 years old, ends up moving back into the house.
Oh boy.
She's 24, she's divorced, and hey, she's got 3 kids in tow now.
Oh my God, she's got little Melisas?
Oh, little Mel Lisas. 3 of them.
Oh,
this is Mel, this is Lisa, and this is Mel Lisa Jr. That's perfect. So I don't know. She didn't name her kids that.
Okay.
But she's got 3 kids and is divorced at 24 and back at home.
Oh, my God.
So in a way, though, John is happy to have everybody back together.
Yeah.
He'd rather have Melissa and Linda and the kids than have nobody.
Yeah.
So he's happy to have them. And, he looks at Melissa as his daughter and those are his grandkids. So fuck it. He's fine. But he's getting up there in age, too, at this point. He's 60 years old, 61 years old at this point. So, to have 3 little kids around at 60 is kind of like, okay, this is supposed to be my golden years.
That's going to do one of 2 things, though. It's going to remind you of your mortality, or it's going to make you just happy to have youth around.
Some people are vibrant when they have the kids around. It keeps them alive. Problem is, after about a couple of weeks, it just devolves into everyone is fighting all the time. All the time. Melissa's fighting with Linda. Linda's fighting with John. John's fighting with Melissa about the kids and fighting with her about that. It's a fucking mess.
Oh boy.
So obviously this goes on for, at least a year here. We're talking about this is in 2000, 2001. This is still happening. Everybody lives in the same house. Combat all the time.
Oh, Jesus.
Constant fight. This sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
By the way, now 2001, June of 2001, Melissa, who is now Melissa Rusinski, is her name. That's her married name. She keeps the name. Rusinski. She meets a guy. She meets a guy on the internet.
Yeah.
It's 2001.
Hell yeah.
So she has a different way of meeting guys after she's divorced. She internet, very normal for that at that moment in time. So, she ends up meeting a guy named Willie Brown online.
Hell yeah.
Okay. She starts to form a relationship with Willie. They get kind of serious. Now there's an issue though. It's kind of it's a roadblock impediment in the relationship is that Willie is not welcome in the home. John Charbonneau here has specifically banned Willie from the house, not because Willie's done anything specific. He has, as we'll find out later, but John doesn't know that. See, John just hates black people.
Right.
Fucking hates black people.
I already knew that.
Like, bad. Like, really is a just open, out in the open racist.
Yeah.
Tells.
And Willie Brown's best friend is a black guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Willie Brown is very black, and John Charbonneau is not okay with that. We'll put it that way. I don't know if you could be very black. Well, he's fucking black, and John Charbonneau's not cool with this shit at all. With his existence, no less his presence in his home. Put it that way. So, yeah, John's kind of a dick here. So he tells, as a matter of fact, Willie's so unwelcome in the home. John tells Melissa that if she brings Willie to the house, John will kill Willie.
Oh, my God.
You bring him on my property, I'll shoot him. That's what he's saying. So this is like next level crazy. Right. This isn't I'm gonna not be polite to the guy at Thanksgiving. Right. This is I'll murder him on my lawn if he comes to take you on a date in front of
you and your children.
In front of you and all your goddamn children. I don't give a shit. You can invite fucking neighbors over, invite his mother over, and I'll shoot him in front of her. He's a dick.
Yeah.
So, this is obviously causing a bit of a problem in the household.
It's amazing that she sticks through this.
For a little bit, she ends up moving out.
Okay.
She ends up taking off, and she can only take so much. She wants to be with Willie, and basically she can either be with Willie or live in this house. So she can't have it both ways.
Oh, can you imagine the amount of times the N-word is strewn around?
Oh, my God.
Shit.
I pray that these people, someone was covering these children's ears because they heard more N-words than any child should ever hear. So anyway... So September of 2001, it was just to give you a lay of the land here.
Yeah, I remember that month really well.
We remember September of 2001. Let's go outside of New York City. Outside of New York City, outside of the Pentagon. Yeah. And this is what I mean. All that was going on. That's all we knew it was happening. Yeah. All this shit was everyone's watching the news. Everybody's doing this. The world stopped. The world doesn't stop, though. People's personal lives continue.
No. Yeah. And
here, Linda Charbonneau, she's living in Bridgeville with John, and Melissa Rusinski is there. She's about to move out now. Billy Sproats, the Sproatsman, he lives in Magnolia, Delaware, which is nearby within 20 miles. Okay. And Willie Brown lives in Lewis, Delaware. Lewis, I think it is, Delaware. They're Lewis, either one, Delaware. So they're all kind of spread around in this little area. Now, problem is there's a lot of fucking problems here, but the main problem is everything is just tension. Yeah. Everybody's walking on eggshells. Everything's tension. And then one day, September 18th, 2001, this is obviously a week after September 11th.
Shit's still smoldering.
Shit's still smoldering. This is still the talk of the world. And obviously this is still all that anyone can be concerned with. But John has jury duty that day, Charbonneau, which, God, I hope no one would pick him on a fucking jury. Jesus. Any reason why you can't serve on this jury? I hate black people. You saying that just to get out of jury duty? Nope.
I wish I was.
Nope. My daughter's dating one. If he comes on the lawn, I'm going to shoot him.
I'm going to need you people for me.
So start tomorrow? Absolutely.
I'll be here.
Fuck no. So... Thankfully, he doesn't show up for jury duty, we'll say. Well, not really thankfully, because he remains missing after that.
No.
So not thankfully. Thankfully for whoever was in that defendant's chair that this man didn't show up for jury duty. Wow, that tells you beware of juries right there. So he remains missing. But people are like, where is he? Everybody thinks he's on vacation.
Yeah.
Linda says he's on vacation. It's a,
maybe he's in Arizona watching the World Series.
That's all. That's going on. The playoffs are there. Yeah. It's just he's on vacation, which is a weird time. If he flew there, it's a real pain in the ass to do that a week after September 11th. So, but she says he's on vacation. That's why he didn't show up for jury duty, and he hasn't done anything that he normally does. Nobody doubts it. They just go, "Oh yeah, John went away for a few days." And that's fine. Problem is, I keep saying problem is because there's always a problem in the story. There's always like, here's something else ridiculous that happens. Problem is, there's something ridiculous on the horizon here. So I'm going to stop saying that and just know there's always a problem. Know that shit up front. So about after a week of John being missing, week and a half of him being missing, this isn't a long time. No. If he's on vacation, that's, it's a normal vacation, or, maybe he's going away for 2 weeks. He's going to really splurge and be luxurious. Linda packs up and moves out.
Okay.
While he's gone.
She's had enough.
She just leaves.
Yeah.
Packs all her shit, moves out. Where's she going to go? Moves back in with Billy Sprouts.
Louise.
So this is wild.
How could she? How could she?
How could he? How could she? How could any of these people, Jimmy? Let's just say that.
How can they?
How can any of this shit be happening? This is fucking ridiculous. What is happening? What are these people doing?
Wow.
It's a mess. This is, like we said, small town murder at its finest,
really
right here,
is.
at its most small town, at its most panhandlerist.
She is bouncing between uncle and nephew, back and forth
like a fucking volleyball.
Yeah.
And no one has spiked it yet.
No.
It's just,
they've been spiking the shit out of it.
Well, at least 3 times we know of. It's been spiked. John's gone, though. He's out of here. Finally, his missing status, I guess, is reported to the authorities by his family, who, not his nephew, but his nephew's actually, we'll find out where his nephew lies and all this type of shit. But he's reported missing by other members of his family who cannot get a hold of him and are just told that he's on vacation. And then they go to his house and no one's there.
Yeah.
So they're like, that's weird. Linda usually lives here. Now, the whole thing's weird. Let's
Where's
just call
Lisa. Where's all the babies?
I don't know what's happening.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Billy Sprouts is like, my wife's back. Cool.
Yeah.
He's happy to have her back.
He's over there spiking.
Yeah. He's like, this is fine. Cool. I'll help you move all your shit back in. No problem. He's thrilled. Problem is, once again, we'll say it one more time, he is helping her move boxes up into the attic, boxes of hers, of all of her shit. And one of the boxes, the bottom of it, he picks it up and he feels moist and he looks at his hand, and the bottom of it's soaked in blood.
Oh, what?
That's a problem.
What's in this box?
Okay, that's a problem. Well, that he just brings it to the attic, but he's like, there's blood on that box.
Yeah.
It was all bloody on that box, and she has some excuse for it, and he's not satisfied with the excuse, but he's like, okay, this is really weird. Linda just kind of skirted the question, and he thought it was very, very strange, and he starts kind of talking around, kind of asking around, talking to his family, and we'll find out later on who he talks to. He ends up talking to Willard, her son, about this, and he's like, your mom, came, and John's missing, and there's blood on this box,
right?
And it's just kind of weird. He actually contacts the Delaware State Police and expressed fear of Linda. Said that, listen, I'm afraid of Linda. I'm also afraid of Melissa here.
Yeah.
And also Willie Brown. I'm afraid of all three of these people.
Okay.
They seem to be up to something, and John's missing, and there's blood on a box, and but it sounds like kind of just this crazy conspiracy theory. Like, hi, my wife, who killed my uncle, who's also her ex-husband, like, there's blood on a box, and then her kids are here, and then she met this guy on the internet, and they're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? No, go away. Shut up.
Right.
He just sounds like a crazy person to this. It sounds like white trash calling again.
Yeah.
It's fucking the whites are calling from West Virginia.
Been over there eating all that scrapple.
You know how that goes.
He's high on that scrapple.
You know how they get with the scrapple?
Right.
They just eat it, and their mind goes just to shit. Their mind goes to scrapple. That's what happens.
He scrappled his eggs. That's what happened.
It's all scrappled up. His brains are scrappled. That's what happens. Scrappled his brains. So he tells them, look, I think John's dead.
Yeah.
Cause this blood, and I'm not sure, but this is what it is. He also says that like there's a bunch of like shit here from John's house that she brought here that like I don't think John would want her to have, like a bunch of furniture and stuff like that I know is his, and like she brought that. There's a bloody box. This is super weird. So
she moved into my house and brought all his clothes. It's real weird.
Very strange. Yeah. So October 17th, 2001, this is a month after John has disappeared. Billy is going hunting with his brother one morning. They're going hunting, and Billy doesn't show up.
Uh-oh.
And brother goes looking for him, can't find him. Yeah. Billy's gone. No one can find Billy. No, Billy's just disappeared.
Yeah.
Now, there's several theories. Did he run away?
Right.
Is he scared of Linda like he said he was? Or is he involved in the John killing?
Good point.
And he's fucking running away here, because that would make a lot of sense, too. I mean, who would have a motive to kill a guy who your wife just moved in with?
Right.
That's, this is all. So they're very suspicious of this whole thing with Billy. They don't know what's going on. His relatives, though, notify the state police that he's gone in November of 2001. So he's gone almost a month before anybody notifies anybody, because like we said, no one knew what was up. Right. And his relatives didn't want to like call the police if they thought maybe he was involved in a murder. So that everybody was kind of like, I don't know what's going on with Billy. Let's all just kind of sit back and hope everything works out. And then finally it's November, and they're like, okay, it's not working out. We gotta call the cops here. Now, at about this time, the Bridgeville house that John Charbonneau and Linda, they lived in, everything there is removed from the house, the interior of the home.
So now the house is empty.
Yeah, and when I say everything, I don't mean furniture and personal items. I mean everything.
Ceiling fans.
Kitchen cabinets, kitchen sink. Linoleum is gone.
What the shit?
Who the fuck takes linoleum?
When they move out? Nobody.
I'll put this down in my next house. Linoleum, once you put it down, it's down. That's it.
I bought this one place, but I could use about 30 square feet linoleum.
You know what? Get one of them putty scraper. Really just dig it on out off the floor, and it's all right. It'll restick. Don't worry about it.
I'll go get some Elmer's, and we'll put it down this weekend.
Carpets, down to the bare wood floors, down to the fucking walls, down to everything. They took everything.
She took the paint.
Sewage pipes.
What?
Sewage pipes they took. They took the sewage pipes from under the toilet and shit like that. They took the piping. They took wiring from they stripped this house to a fucking frame of nothing, which is the weirdest shit ever. That would be either you are a total crackhead or it's also helpful to cover up something if there's a lot of evidence in a house.
On those.
You go, well, we can't clean it, just strip it bare. That's the other thing.
Can't clean it, just take it with us.
Yeah, it's very fucking weird. Now, he left. Billy was missing in October, and within 2 weeks, before the month of November comes, Ruzinski, Mel Lisa, her children, and Willie Brown are all living at the Sproats residence.
Okay.
So he's missing, which is a good time to move in.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good, you want to move into some, he's not here anymore. No. His side of the bed's open. So that's just a weird thing. Normally when someone's missing, you go, well, if we're going to move in, we'll wait till he's, found before we move into his house.
We got to wait for permission at least.
Yeah. So, you know how that goes. Right. So the police have talked to Linda because she's the person who knows both of these people. Yeah. And Linda tells them, look, it's very simple. Billy left me for another woman. He said I was too old for him, and he found a younger woman, and he left me and said that he was going and just have a good one. I won't be back.
Told me I'm packing my Sproats and getting the fuck out.
And with that, they said, well, he's not the most stable guy, Billy, and he's not like he's got a big career to, he's not going to show up for work on Monday, so he can drift. So they were like, maybe. And then she said, John went on vacation. Billy left me for another woman. John's on vacation. Shrugs her shoulders.
Maybe wherever Billy went, John was already there. They're fighting over the same woman somewhere else.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they killed each other. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. You should hear them talking. That's all I'm saying.
I'll bet they're just over in I'll bet they're up in Murder Kill, fighting over some other woman.
And they're going to have a duel.
Yep.
And they're going to turn around and both win. That's how it's going to, or lose, however you look at it. I'll look at it.
Both win. That's hilarious.
Or lose.
Yeah.
So, and also at this point, they find that John Charbonneau's mail, this is, less than 2 months after he's been reported missing, is being forwarded from his Bridgeville address to a post office box in Felton, Delaware. And they do a little investigating and they find out Mel Lisa was the one who completed the paperwork to forward the mail. So this is all very intertwined and spiderwebby and just very panhandle. Yeah. This whole thing is excessively panhandle behavior.
Seems real gross.
This is nudnickery at its finest, Absolutely. This whole fucking thing here. So November 30th, 2001, police officers finally visit the John Charbonneau's residence. Yeah. He has been missing since September 18th.
And now, what month are we in?
November 30th. They finally go to his house after the relatives have been constantly asking them, can you please fucking check up on this? And they just kept going, well, they say he's on vacation. Right. They're like, can you fucking check? And finally they go there. And they find the home bare. Like we said, sewer pipes, carpets, linoleum, sinks, everything stripped. Wow. Which the cops find weird. Yeah. They find that a little odd. That's not a typical move-out situation. Yeah. It's not like they took the copper out of the walls and more shit. They took shit that's not worth anything. Old linoleum there's no resale value on pulled-up linoleum.
That's amazing.
Or shitty old carpet either. Right. Ragged old carpet from under the feet of a vowed racist is not worth anything. That's racist carpet you got there. I don't think I'm going to take it. I don't want it.
I mean, they got easy answers for this. The drywall's gone because the kids were running around dragging their hands on it. There was black marks on it. You know how much
John is all gone.
You just had to pull it all down. The carpet, the high traffic areas started getting a little too dark. You know what I'm saying?
We had a plumber come over, and he was a black man,
right? And
he touched both the carpet, walked on the linoleum, and fixed the sewer pipes and the sink. So it all had to go. It's all got to go. So that's all it was to it. So they find that to be odd. Yeah. And then they start looking around the property too, just to see, because it's a big property. And finally, about 100 yards from the house, they see a police officer sees an area that looks like it's been recently disturbed of ground. Yeah. And odd thing about it is on top of that is a big pile of tires that's just doesn't belong. It's not like there's a big junk pile and there's tires here and it's just a pile of tires in the middle of a yard, just sitting there, all piled up nice.
Okay.
Which is just a suspicious thing. Yeah. It's like you could just look out across the yard and go, "What's up with those tires?" It's the first fucking thing you'd say. It's the first thing you'd say. You're better off to just leave a corpse in the yard. Yeah. You'd see that less. You might just look out and go, I don't see anything.
Or at least hammer a cross in right there.
What's that pile of tires doing out in the middle of the yard? That's weird. I think I'll go look at it. So they do, and then they look and they go, oh, the ground looks funny under the tires. Let's move these tires and see what's going on. So they move all the tires and they dig, and they don't have to dig very far. They dig like 3 inches down.
And they find linoleum.
They find carpeting from the living room.
Tons of it.
Tons of it. It's actually a shallow grave, and they find Billy Sproats there.
Oh, whoa. There's a twist.
Yeah, Billy Sproats is in the yard, planted like a fucking bed of azaleas.
Yeah.
He's in the yard. They identify him through fingerprint testing, and his wallet is in his back pocket, and that contains his ID.
That giveaway.
So they didn't need to really the fingerprints that bad. When they dug it up, they go, well, it's one or the other. I don't know. So
we got 2 identities of what it could possibly be.
An autopsy's performed. They find out that Billy Sproats' death is caused by multiple stab wounds, blunt force trauma, and asphyxiation. Whoa. So clearly an accident.
Yeah.
Clearly just
suicide.
He stumbled. It was a real Nordberg situation, like, OJ and the Naked Gun.
He got his ass kicked, that poor kid.
Yeah, this was really bad. Also, the kicker, though, that's bad enough. They stabbed him, beat him, asphyxiated him, all that. When he was buried, this is where the asphyxiation comes in. When he was buried, he was still alive.
Oh, God damn it.
They buried this poor man alive.
Wow.
Buried him alive because he was asking questions and was suspicious. So he is buried alive. Wow.
That's too much.
That's crazy. Yeah.
What?
Beaten, stabbed, and buried alive. And we'll find out a little more.
He was choking on dust when they put tires on him?
It's a Joe Pesci casino situation.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they did. It's
shit.
Fucking awful. While they were shoveling dirt on him and then piling tires up on top of him.
Dust coming out of his mouth.
Fucking disgusting.
My God.
It's awful. So as a part, they obviously investigate this. They go to his house in Magnolia. They search a Dodge van and a Chevy Lumina. The Dodge van was registered to Linda. Now, the Lumina was owned by Willie Brown, but he was owned by him until the fall of 2001, right around this time when he sold it to Linda Charbonneau. And so they search everything. They find blood in the van, and they find out it is John Charbonneau's blood. So they know they have his blood there. They just don't have him there.
Right.
They don't know where he is, but they know he bled in this van at some point. They also find ATM receipts for money withdrawn from John Charbonneau's PNC bank account, which is also weird. They're found in the Lumina. Now, so they do a little investigation. They find the receipt, so they look at the timestamp, and they get the security camera from the bank to see who was pulling that out at the ATM. And who do they find? Mel Lisa.
Oh, no.
Mel Lisa observed on video withdrawing funds at a Wawa convenience store right around the time of John Charbonneau's disappearance. It was September 23rd, 2001. So 5 days after he fails to show up for jury duty, she's pulling money out of his ATM. Now, John Charbonneau's driver's license and social security card were found in a diaper bag in the kitchen as well. So
that's not good.
They're not good at covering tracks.
No,
like we always say, the dismount is the most important part of the murder plot.
It really
is. It's really the big one is the dismount. Anybody could just kill a guy.
Yeah.
I could reach across to stab the shit out of you to death right now.
Right.
But I'd go to prison.
Then what are you going to do?
Then what? That's the thing. That's the fucking thing.
There's always a plan. Then there's got to be not plan B.
Yeah.
Plan B is when plan A goes awry. When plan A goes right, what's plan 2? Because you got to go from A to 2. You got to start on the where does this go now?
Yeah. No,
what the fuck?
I think it's Hunter Thompson. I think it's the Hell's Angels book where he's talking about a bunch of Hell's Angels in jail in a small town. They all got locked up, and the one was like, "This is a fucking small town. We could overrun this. We could take these cops. We could kick the shit out of them. We could take over this fucking jail." And the other guy goes, "And then what?" And he said the guy just was like, "Oh," like he didn't think of that.
Good point.
Literally didn't think past that. Oh, then other cops will probably be called, and then we'll have to fight them too.
Right.
Not good.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
sure,
that's
everybody
a thing.
can do that.
Anybody can kill a person. That's
now
not
what?
hard.
Right.
We've shown it's really not difficult.
The
difficult part is dismount. Now,
the difficult part is and then
and
yes
and exactly. So, so they end up, they talk to everybody. They talk to Linda. They talk to Mel Lisa. Right. They talk to Willie. All of them deny knowing anything about the corpse or anything else. Okay. They're like, we don't know. I mean,
what corpse?
If Willie was in John's yard and John's missing, I assume that John probably killed Willie, buried him in his yard, then took off.
Except for
the fact that John was missing first.
Right.
But he could have been out hiding. It's his alibi. Right. I was missing. You know how that goes. That's what they're trying to.
That's their legit.
That's all they have. They're like, you know what could have happened? I know, I got it. And the cops are like, really? Let's hear your theory. That was a guy with a pad. Just no. Let's do.
I had a degree in criminal history. Let's go ahead.
Fire away. Let's go. What do you got? Oh yeah. Oh, then he killed him. Oh, so he was. What was he hiding out in the woods?
Right.
Like, he was doing like a Ted Kaczynski thing. Really, like sitting in a cabin plotting. Though I get it. Why? All for Linda. Okay. So
this Linda better be hot as fuck. She better be a piece of ass for all these guys to just be willing to murder each other.
She's hilarious. She's so funny, Johnny.
Oh God,
that's what it is.
Her personality is insane.
Bright. She's full of life.
She's hysterical.
So December of 2001, late December, John Rusinski, who is Melissa's ex-husband, they were divorced in January of 2001. Three baby daddy.
Yeah.
He tells the police at this point that Melissa and Linda asked him to help them, quote, get rid of John Charbonneau in the fall of 2000. He says they came to him with this proposition. The plan was to kill him and bury the body in the backyard or hide it in a camper. That was the plan that they gave to him. That's what he said.
Terrible at this.
We'll find out why he said no a little bit later on, because he would have been suspect number one. So police look into everybody's background. They look into Willie's background and they find some interesting shit. Old Willie Brown has some charges. Willie Brown has aggravated assault charges, robbery charges, rape charges as well on there.
Just as John suspected.
Oh yeah, exactly. He knew. He's like, I knew it. I knew it all along. I could sense it. I don't know how I could sense it. I seen his picture and then I got a feeling.
He looked
how it goes. It just looked like there was something about him. But Willie's not a good guy at all. He has a mile-long list of charges, including, like I said, serious assaults and rapes. Yeah. So that's bad right away. Not a good dude.
Does Melissa know this?
Probably, yeah. She probably knows this. But Melissa and all of her friends too. People said about Melissa. Melissa wanted somebody to be with. She didn't. She picked who she found, and that was Willie Brown.
But she got a guy willing to be a daddy thrice with her, you know?
Well, yeah, not after January of 2000. He wasn't anymore willing to do shit with her. That was a divorce situation. So police now that they know what they're dealing with, they go to Willie, and rather than treat him like a regular person, a regular Joe who might have information, they treat him like a fucking criminal who's been in the system a lot. They're like, listen, motherfucker. Listen, rapey, we know what the fuck you've done.
We typed your name in a database back there.
They press him pretty good, and they start telling him, we got this. We found blood in the van. We found receipts in the car, in your car, before when you sold it to Linda. So they had like some information on him, and they were like, look, man, obviously you're a suspect here. And he cracks.
Oh, boy.
Willie cracks, and Willie gives it up. So Willie's got a tale to tell. Willie says he went to Billy's house, went over there, he beat him and clubbed him, and rolled him up in a rug and put him in a truck in the van and drove him over to John Charbonneau's house. Now, obviously, why his question was, won't John mind if I bury his nephew in his house? Like, he'll probably be upset with that, right? That's what the police were asking. That doesn't seem like something somebody would be cool with. And Willie knows it wasn't being a problem at all. He said, no. John wouldn't mind. I know that for a fact because I also killed John a month before.
Okay.
So I killed them both. So I knew it wasn't going to be a problem. Like, I knew nobody was home. Yeah. It was cool. I knew the linoleum was gone.
I was welcome.
I was welcome. What do you think we did with the carpet? You know what I'm saying?
If you notice on the welcome mat, I wrote Willie's right above welcome.
It's all good.
Because I'm welcome again.
now. Now I'm welcome. Yeah, that's how it works here. He also says Melissa helped him. That's the other thing. He said when they killed John, Melissa drove to the house, Willie driving behind her. Obviously, they can't pull up together. There would have been shotgun shots from the front fucking window as soon as he stepped out of the car. So apparently they went into the kitchen where they found John, and they ended up knocking him out and putting him in the car. And they took him to the woods about 10 miles away while he was still alive, knocked out in the car. That's why there was blood there, his blood. And then when they get him out about 10 miles away out in the woods, woods. They need to dig a shallow grave for him. But before that, Willie beats him to death with a shovel. These are some rough deaths, man.
Yeah, Willie's a fucking mean dude.
Willie doesn't give a fuck.
He didn't account for the stab wounds on Billy.
He stabbed him up after they brought him to outside.
Okay.
Yeah, they attacked him. He knocked him out, stabbed him a few times. He was still alive, and that's why he buried him. He thought that he was going to be dead, but you stab somebody a bunch, you expect death.
Right.
It's fucking weird. So, so she beats him. Now, Melissa, they talked to her, obviously. She claims she was there, but didn't help. Mm-hmm. Lazy bitch, first of all. I mean, I gotta be honest with you.
Maybe that's why you're divorced, Melissa.
If you're gonna kill your dad and your stepfather, uncle thing, whatever the fuck, and you got your boyfriend to do it, you know what? You help this guy out.
Right.
Give him a shot here. Right around this time, by the way, right before Willie cracks, Willie and Melissa get married as well. So they're married now. Now, she says she sat in the car listening to country music while John was killed and buried.
Oh, boy.
That's what she said. She said she turned the music up real loud to drown out his screams because obviously, she felt bad. You know how it is when you kill your dad or stepdad, either one.
Yeah.
You feel kind of bad.
Yeah, and that new.
Plus, he was screaming the N-word the whole time too, which was also really uncomfortable for her. It wasn't like "ouch, help me." It was N-word and this and that. She's just
turning up the radio. That new Alan Jackson song on loop.
It's on loop.
Where were you when the world quit turning?
Of course, he says the N-word a bunch too, probably. So I don't know. He looks like he says the N-word. I'll say that. Alan Jackson looks like that is a regular part of his vocabulary, doesn't he?
He named his mustache that.
You know he did. Tickler. So. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's terrible. Now, she says all of this. She admits to it, but she says John was killed. It wasn't their idea. This was on orders from Linda. She said Linda has wanted John's disability check the whole time. So she wants to get a hold of John's disability check and not have John in the picture, though. Right. And, she wants to have black people over and that sort of thing.
And if you guys want to live here, that's what you'll do.
That's what you'll do, exactly. Okay. And Billy was killed because he figured it all out. That's literally what she said. She said, they said, Billy figured it out. We got to get rid of him.
The guy that can't keep a job can figure out your murder plot.
Real easily. Yeah. Well, when you hand him a box with blood all over it really doesn't take much to figure out.
That's a good point.
And he was going around. He had talked to Willard, her son, and said, hey, just between me and you, your mom, whatever. So then Willard went to his mom to ask about it.
What a snitch.
So, but not even she just went to go, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
And Linda had an excuse for it. No, that's just silly. Yeah. And then she was like, turned to Melissa and was like, he knows. he must go. And they fucking, that's what Melissa says now. Now, this is early June 2002. This is all playing out. Linda has taken off. She's not in Delaware anymore. Okay. She's living up with her family in Vermont, in St. Albans, Vermont, for about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. This is while this is all going on. She saw it was getting hot and she fucking jetted. And so they go up there to Vermont and they get her. They extradite her back to Delaware. Mm-hmm. They charge her with 2 counts of first-degree murder for Linda Lou. That's not good at all. So, now, July of 2002 is, Willie, this is when Willie really cracks, lets it all out, admits about the John Charbonneau murder, and he not only does that, he leads police to a site near Millsboro, Delaware, where the body is buried. So he actually takes them right to it. They don't believe him at first, too. Yeah. They're like, maybe he's full of shit and trying to get out of it, saying this and that.
He is a con.
He's a con. He's been in the system and all that sort of shit. Who knows? His record's long, but he knows right where the body is, takes him to it, and they go, he's telling the truth. Yeah. He at least buried it. We know that. They do an autopsy, DNA testing. They confirm him. I mean, like it's someone else. Right. Oh, it's a different guy killed. Right. Shit, my bad. John's buried somewhere else. Right. I killed this guy the week before. So the cause of death is attributed to blunt force injury causing a fractured skull. Okay. Now Brown, Willie, implicates himself, Linda, and Melissa in the murders and in the burials. Yeah. He says it's everybody involved. Now Melissa also attempted to show the police because they wanted to know if she was telling the truth. Yeah. So they said, "Show us where the body is," because they already knew.
They already know.
Yeah. So they take her. They take her out there. She didn't find the exact spot, but they said she passed within 10 feet of the location, so she knew place and the spot. She just couldn't remember the exact location.
Plus, now it's been disturbed because police dug it up.
That's the other thing. You think you just with yellow tape around it right there. Duh. Jesus, that's the spot.
Where those guys are sifting shit, it's like 10 feet from there.
Right in that area, yeah. Where that whole part with the
See where that body is right there? He's about over here. It's weird that's there too.
I don't know if you can see this. It says crime scene around it. If you want to just right inside that, probably, I'm going to assume that barrier is going to be the... somewhere in there.
But she picked 10 feet away.
She picked 10 feet away. This is an underdeveloped area, a bunch of trees and growth, and it's the woods, basically. Now, Melissa admits being present at the residence in Bridgeville when John Charbonneau was killed. She says she participated in the transporting and disposing of the body, turning up the radio in the ATM, or turning up the radio with Alan Jackson saying the N-word and all of that. And she also admits to using John Charbonneau's ATM card to withdraw money after his death, which she kind of has to admit to it because there's a fucking video of her doing it.
We've seen you.
That's you, stupid. So Linda gave her, she says Linda gave her John's ATM card and PIN information and told her that she was allowed to make these withdrawals. Now, Melissa also admitted to having John's driver's license and social security card, because it was in the diaper bag and no one else has babies. So it's pretty easy. Prosecutors offer Willie and Melissa deals right away. They offer them deals.
Got it.
Now, we'll talk about how the Melissa deals kind of shakes out, but Willie Brown is happy to take a plea on this shit. He takes a plea. He pleads guilty to murdering John Charbonneau and Billy Sproats. He must give full statements and testify against the others if called. That's the deal that they always make. He provides further information a little later. He talks about Melissa's involvement with it. Previously, he had implicated only Linda, but now he also ropes Melissa into it, who was also incriminated herself. He says that Willie says that Sproats was murdered because he was talking to people about the suspicions. He talks about the whole thing. Just kind of talks about the fact that they put the body in John Charbonneau's yard so people would think John Charbonneau did it and then took off.
Got it.
That was the plan.
That is the whole thing.
That's the plan. Yeah. He's mad because he took his wife, he killed him, buried him in his yard, now he took off. Bad plan. I mean, on the surface, it sounds good, but logistically...
doesn't work.
Doesn't really work, especially when the killer's blood is found in your car. It's not a good thing. Well, who you want to be the killer. Now, April 24th, 2003, Willie Brown pleads guilty to murder. Sentencing on this one for it. You might as well. You, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole.
He took a deal for life without.
Death penalty was on the table in the trial. The death penalty's on the table for everybody, by the way, here. So everybody's a little touchy.
I didn't know Delaware was like that.
Yeah, it is. So they don't execute a lot of people, but it's on the table, and they can use it as a tool to get you to plea to life without parole. That's what they do. That's what they do in most places. It's just like in Florida and Texas, they're a little more enthusiastic about it.
They'd rather just go to trial.
Politicians want to say, I executed this many people under my watch. To them, that's a plus in Texas.
If the constituents like that
that's
shit,
what they're doing.
And you'll keep getting voted in.
Exactly. So now prosecutors want to try Linda and Melissa together. They want to try them at the same time for both murders.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Theories.
Now the ladies here motion to sever because they don't want that.
No.
They don't want anything overlapping information wise because that's just more information. The prosecution's argument is that for costliness and just they say for judiciousness, just for speed and ease of the whole thing.
Also, Melissa's got herself a deal where she
not yet.
Oh, okay.
They've offered her one, but she's still saying no, and she's still talking about going through with this trial, and she's trying to get severed from her mom. And problem is, their argument is that they say Sproats' death was too gruesome to be joined with the Charbonneau murder. The pictures of Sproats and everything, the stabbing and all that, it's really gruesome.
Oh, I'm sure.
Compared to the John Charbonneau murder, it just looks like he had a fractured skull, so it's nothing you can really see. It's just a dead body. So that's not that bad looking, but the Sproats one looks like they did a number on that motherfucker. motherfucker. Yeah. So they say that they shouldn't be joined together. The court said it's not persuasive, and accepting it would imply that they could not receive a fair trial in a separate proceeding focused only. Basically, you have to be tried together, they're saying. They say that juries are fully capable of filtering the emotion out of grisly evidence to make decisions on a proper basis. Okay. Like they say always when they're talking about too gruesome. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have done it. Or if you didn't do it, still, it's we're all big boys. We're all adult, big boys and girls. We're all in an adult court, and we're all going to look at it and see what happened.
I can see Melissa's side though, that she's trying to get away from her mom, because her mom's got the straight up motive to doing this shit. If I can get away from her, maybe I can get a better deal.
But the prosecutors are saying, I don't know, Melissa's the one who was taking money out of the ATM, so they're putting pressure on her that way, going, why should we believe you? It looks like you benefited the most financially out of the whole thing, so I don't know. That's just shrugging their shoulders. You had his Social Security card and his his driver's license, and it's your husband who killed the fucking guy.
Good point.
So, they end up finally going to trial. Right before the trial, Melissa takes the deal. She backs out. Backs out of the trial. The motion to sever is denied, and she says, fuck it, and takes a deal. Her deal is she has to testify against her mother. That was the big sticking point, was if she took the deal, she had to then testify against her mom, which is rough. The jury here for Linda's trial, it's in 2004. It's 8 men and 4 women, which is not what you want if you're Melissa, or if you're Linda.
Who's killed 2 husbands. And, as she's like an awful dickhead, like fucking misogynist radio host would say that women are like Tom Likas.
Yeah. Chicks are just manipulators, man. That's all it is. They're just going to fucking manipulate the money out of your pocket and the semen out of your cock to get a little seedling baby that they can then extract money from you for the rest of your goddamn lives. They're manipulative succubuses, and you must kill them now. Succubuses. I didn't go to college. I'm not sure. Listen to my opinions. Clearly, I have a 4th grade education.
That is Tom Likas in a nutshell.
I've never heard Tom Likas, but I've heard of him and know who he is, and I assume that's what he's doing.
I heard about 7 minutes of his show when he was on the air in Phoenix, and I was, how is this fucking popular? And then I Googled the guy, and I was like, never again. I will never listen to what a man that looks like that and has to say about women. No, thank you, sir.
They don't want to fuck you because you're gross.
Right.
That's why. Shut up.
That's just an angry
pretty
man.
Simple.
That's
easy.
A man that's gotten 2 blowjobs in his life, loved them, and couldn't get more.
He's like, come on. I know I had to pay for the first 2. Pay and force, even though I paid. So this is a 3-week trial altogether. Okay. This trial lasts 3 weeks. Linda changes her whole image, tries to look very grandmotherly, comes in like flowered things and like, shawls. And she tries to look like, I'm just a little old lady who loves her grandkids. Carries a Bible every day in there, pulls that shit. That's
I hate her.
One of those, no one knows that she was never really a religious person before. Melissa testifies now. She testifies that not only all of the things about Linda and the murder, but also that Linda was abusive to all the kids, her, Willard, Linda Jr., all the damn kids, and both spouses that she's seen her with. She said she was abusive to John, and Linda was abusive to Billy as well. Domineering, abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive. She claims, Melissa claims that Linda hated John and openly would talk about hating John in front of Melissa and had been planning his murder for years. Like, how can I kill him? How can I get rid of him?
Oh, boy.
And then finally saw Willie Brown as an opportunity because they knew about his criminal record, and they were like, he might not be, averse to murder. This might work. Plus I think she was probably like, the black guy will do it. That's what John says anyway. Like, fucking dick. She's such a dick. So Melissa here testifies that Linda also, now this is the switch from what Willie said. Her and Willie have different accounts of events. Willie says Melissa and Willie attacked John, knocked him out, dragged him outside, all that shit, and then beat him to death with a shovel. Melissa testifies that she was there. Melissa was trying to help Willie, and Linda smashed John in the head with a frying pan. That's her story. Linda not only ordered it, but also participated in it.
Oh, shit.
And whacked him with a frying pan to helps that skull fracture along, how that goes. Now, they also bring in Melissa's ex-husband to the stand, who testifies that Linda asked him to kill John. So that's a bad one here. Now, the guy,
husband?
The prosecutor says that John Charbonneau feared for his life. He feared for the safety of his grandchildren. He says that he was afraid to go to the police, and then later on they say that Sproats was afraid to go to the police because he thought they killed Charbonneau. So they said, even though he did go to the police, they said he might have held stuff back and he was scared and didn't know what to do. They say, the prosecutor says, quote, there was no turning back after she didn't call 911 from the first. When she had the opportunity to come clean, she did. They're talking about Melissa. Yeah. So they're like, she fucked up, but then she ended up coming clean, to try to say that she's not try to basically keep credibility to her. Because on the stand, they're like, so what you're telling us is you lied to us once, you lied to us again, you lied to us this time, that time, but now
we're supposed to believe you.
And she said yes. Yeah. So it was one of those, which is all you can say. All you can say there. Now, her ex-husband said that Linda talked about killing John before, tried to recruit her, wanted to say that, I'll kill him and you help hide the body, is what Linda was pitching to him. She even said, you don't have to kill him at all. Basically, I'll fuck with his heart medicine and I'll like replace it with placebos and or take it away completely so he doesn't have it, and then I'll scare him into a heart attack.
Wow.
That's her plan.
That's a stretch.
And then you help hide the body, which if he had a heart attack, you don't have to hide the body. You just go, had a heart attack and shrug your shoulders. Fuck. That's rough. 60-year-old man with a heart condition had a heart attack. Weird.
That's not,
fine.
That's how you get away with it.
That's how you get away with it. But instead, no.
That's a hell of a dismount, James.
That's a
you
dismount
stuck
right
the
there.
landing.
Scary as it is, I could murder it with impunity at this point. I know too much. Too much. Just too much. I could kill all of you, damn it. So now Melissa's ex-husband testimony here. The question, I'll give some quotes. They ask him, prior to Linda Charbonneau moving in or after she moved in August or September of 2000, did you ever have any discussions with her, with your wife and or Linda regarding John Charbonneau? He says, yes. My wife and I had come home from work and a usual thing. It was about bedtime. I was in bed, had brought John Jr. in. They're all naming their kids Jr. Put him down to sleep and got in bed. She asked me if I would listen to something she had to say. I am taking a guess she wanted my opinion on it, or I'm not sure exactly what her meaning of what the conversation was, but she told me that her mother had been talking about forcing John into a heart attack by taking away his pills, from said forcing him into a heart attack, placing him in a plastic tote, burying him in the backyard so that she could get all of his stuff out of the house and so that she could have the house on top of that, because she was afraid if something ever happened to John, she would get nothing because they weren't fucking married anymore because she divorced him and married his goddamn nephew. So you don't get shit anymore from that guy at that point. He says Missy was telling me this. That's Melissa, which is better than Melissa. Wow.
I don't know.
Missy's bad.
Missy's terrible.
Yeah. He says, my exact words were, well, that is a little more than I wanted to know about the situation. And that, I told Missy as long as she was with me, we would have no part in it. And then I mentioned something to Linda about it, and we talked more the next morning. He said, talked about hiding the pills and forcing him into having a heart attack. He said that was just one of the scenarios that Linda had. The other was to fake a break-in and kill him that way. But she still said she still might lose what was in the house, and I plain out told her I didn't know if she was trying to solicit me into this or if she wanted my opinion or what, but I did tell her that I would have no part in it, and I did tell her that. I said, if you do anything like this, the first person they're going to look at is you and me because of my record, because Melissa's ex-husband has a mile-long record.
Really?
When he heard about this whole thing, the death, he was in jail on a probation violation. When he heard about all this, he was like, oh shit, John died? In jail, reading the paper. So, now this guy said that, all of this shit, they said that anyone who came looking for him, they could just say he was on vacation or he was gone for the day or he drove down here to get a truck part or, He makes some shit up and whatever. And they said they'll end up keeping to get his disability checks and, all that's that
but
sort
what
of shit.
about tomorrow when they come back?
That's what I mean.
The day after.
At some point, you can't just say, he's never home for 5 years. Super weird.
It's a vacationing son of a bitch.
Again, the whole thing is fucking ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Who would think that? Then they bring in a bunch of other people to testify who talk about Sproats. It's his relatives talking, saying that Sproats told him that Linda had brought a bloodstained box, that he was scared and concerned about John's disappearance, that Linda told Billy that, quote, if he had said anything of what happened, she would no longer talk to him, and the same would happen to him as did Uncle John.
Oh, boy.
That's what he told one of his cousins. That Linda told him.
We'll kill you too.
We'll kill you too. So this poor Billy was scared shitless. And Linda called, and Linda had called, and he was going to let her into the residence, was what they were saying. So he's like, she's coming over too, so I'm a little scared, and it's crazy. Now, there's a different story. It's a different story than before. Willie said Melissa hit John. Melissa said that Linda was the accomplice.
Yeah.
So there's a different... We all know Willie was involved,
right,
but there's conflicting accounts of who was the other person.
They're both there.
Now, the defense brings up Melissa and taking money out of the accounts and all that. Melissa ends up testifying. She testified that she followed, that Brown followed her to the house that night at John's house. She said, Melissa went into the house, and several minutes later, she heard Linda say to John, quote, someone is breaking into the house.
Yeah.
So to go out there and look.
Right.
So then Melissa says she witnessed Willie Brown beating John and then placing him in the van. And she said they drove to a secluded place and buried him. She said on the drive back, Willie called Linda to report everything that happened, basically to talk about it. Give a little postmortem.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So by the time Melissa and Willie returned, they said Linda had cleaned up all the blood. The place looked like it never happened.
Okay.
So shallow grave. She can clean up a whole murder scene in the time it takes you to dig a shallow grave.
Unbelievable.
Not too shabby. Now, Melissa also testifies that Linda lured Sproats to his house in Magnolia, where Brown was in the house waiting for him.
Already?
Oh, they had him all. They had him all set up like it's fucking terrible. Apparently, Brown then killed Sproats, like we talked about, and drove his body to the house in Bridgeville, where Linda and Melissa were there waiting for him for the body. Brown buried Sproats in the backyard, and then they all sat down and concocted a cover story that, if anybody asks, Sproats ran off with a younger woman. Got sick of me. I'm too old. That way they'll feel bad for me and go after him and blah, blah, blah.
Until they find the body.
And then they figure they'll just blame that on John. But then what happens when fucking John doesn't come back? Right. They didn't think they try to, instead of, they need an end game.
Right.
There needs to be an end, and they just have another layer to it. And then this will happen, and then we'll do this.
The way plans work, you get to the end and you work your way back. You don't work your way forward.
They just keep going. They never figured that part out.
It's like the puzzle, that little maze on the kids menu.
Yeah.
You always start at the end and work back to the finish.
They just started this plan out, and we're like, well, we'll figure it out on the fly. It can't be that hard to get away with murder. Fuck it.
It's like starting at one of the dead ends and then working back.
See where that gets you. So, all the evidence says that, Linda brought all the shit to Sproats' house. Linda told Sprouts to keep his mouth shut and all that sort of thing. Now, Sproats told his family members and a guy named Roger Layton was a friend of his that was a police officer. He told him about the boxes. Layton said that he saw the blood on the boxes and it appeared consistent with major trauma. There was enough blood to where if it's soaked into a box, it's a lot of fucking blood. Yeah. Someone cut their hand open or anything like that. Linda learned from her son that Sproats was involved in the questioning about the disappearance and, asking what's up with the box and all that sort of thing. Linda apparently told Melissa and Willie Brown, according to Melissa, that Billy Sproats was, quote, getting too close to finding out what actually happened to Dad and something had to be done with him. That's what they told him. This is all that. Now, what they don't do, the prosecution, is they don't call Willie to testify.
No?
Willie does not testify.
They've got enough?
They don't want conflicting stories.
Gotcha.
Willie's got one story, Melissa's got another. They're not exactly alike, and they don't want to confuse the jury with this shit. And basically, they don't know which one is true. Right. So rather than, finding out and doing it that way, they're just like, fuck it. We know somebody killed him.
Just throw this story in.
Just throw this story, which is not really all that ethical.
No.
Now, Willie doesn't testify. The defense blames a race war between John and Willie. That's what the defense is blaming.
Okay.
They have no answer for Billy's death. That's just a big shoulder shrug.
Yeah.
But for John, they say that, this is just, they got in a big fight about race and fucking Willie killed him because he was mad because he called him a name or something. Okay. That was what they're trying to get across. Linda's son testifies that Billy told him about the bloody box. And then Willard said that he asked his mom about it. And then a week later, Billy disappeared.
Terrible.
So Willard felt terrible.
Yeah.
Like he felt like he caused this. Finally, the trial is over. 13 hours of deliberation here just to sort out the relationships and the messiness of the whole thing. Jesus Christ.
Wait, so who
did what?
The nephew is what? The uncle is...
the what? Now, she married the... No. But whose father is the... Okay, but then... She's got 3 kids of her own. Okay, now I think.
So they got cats scooping shit out of toilets?
Which one's black now? Like, it would be a fucking mess. What a disaster trying to sort that. There's a couple people who are a little slow always, and you got to explain it to... No, she's fucking this one now, not that one. Jesus, no, they spiked her good. Yes, you got it. That's right. Cat scoop in the toilet. It's a mess over there. So,
but whose brain is scrappled? I don't know what's going on.
That's beyond the answer.
They're
it's
all
the realm
scrappled.
of answers. I'm not sure.
I think they're all scrappled.
I think it's all of them. So there's even when the jury comes back, there's a mess with that. They get back and it's kind of late, so they're like, "What do we do? Do we send them back to the motel, or do we get the verdict now?" And they're like, "Well, let's just get the verdict." There's like an hour thing of
figuring out how to sort out overtime.
Where do we send the jury,
right.
or what are we doing? And finally, the judge says, "Let's just get the fucking verdict. Let's do this shit." Linda Lou sat there very quietly, and they find her guilty of 2 counts of murder. Now is sentencing. Okay. And she is up for the death penalty. Yeah. And she gives all of her spiel about, tough life and all of this type of thing. Yeah. Prosecution says she's a cold-blooded, murder orchestrating for profit, making her daughter kill her own father or stepfather, whatever the fuck she was. Yeah. And she's just this manipulative, horrible person. And the judge says that she was the one in control. Uh-huh. They were all her little cogs in her machine. Yeah. And he says, "You, ma'am, may fuck off," gives her the death penalty. Spiked her good.
Yes.
Wow. The last woman to be executed in Delaware was in 1935.
I was going to guess so, too.
When a woman named May Carey was put to death along with her son Howard for killing her brother.
Whoa.
Yeah, same type of thing. They were going for his property or his part of the business or some shit like that, so they killed him and they hung her for it. Delaware doesn't even have a woman's death row because this doesn't happen very much. So
they're all in the men's for it.
They only have one big women's prison and they don't have a death row there. So they were like, we kind of have to make something for this woman here. Yeah. She appeals it, obviously. There's a bunch of appeals. In March of 2006, she appeals all the way up to the Supreme Court of Delaware, where they talk about the main issue is Willie not testifying. That's the main issue. Okay. Apparently, 12 days before opening statements of the trial, the prosecutors produced a potential witness list that included both Brown and Melissa. Yeah. Okay. Now, the prosecutors knew that there was inconsistencies in the story, and they were giving, they're the critical shit too. It wasn't like I say he drove and she said I drove. It's one said this one hit him with a frying pan and one said she didn't. It's a big deal. But Linda had her counsel. They had extensively prepared their defense based on the assumption that Willie Brown would be called to trial since he got a deal to testify against her, and they decided at the last minute not to call him, and that destroyed their entire defense that they'd been working on for months. So the defense sought 2 forms of relief here. They sought a missing witness instruction, which instructs the jury there's a witness that's not testifying, but this is what he has sworn to, and blah 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 blah, to get his story there, and an order admitting Willie Brown's plea and proffer into evidence for the purpose of impeaching Melissa and creating reasonable doubt.
Okay.
The judge says no. Not going to do it.
Really?
Yep. Says he denied the missing witness instruction, ruling that it was not natural for the state to call Brown so long as the state believed that Brown was lying. So they said, yeah, it's normal that the state wouldn't call him if they thought he was lying. But the problem is there's people being convicted on his testimony that they are on his words that they think are lies. Yeah, so this whole thing's a fucking mess. It's a mess.
That seems like a violation of rights, right?
Something. Yeah. The trial judge also ruled that the fact that Brown had pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and the facts stated in his proffer that formed the basis of his plea bargain were inadmissible as evidence at trial because they were irrelevant and because any probative value that evidence might have had was substantially outweighed by the danger and unfair prejudice or misleading the jury, is what he says.
In other words, we were afraid we'd lose the case.
I was afraid the prosecutor lose just based on this, which if they give two deals to two people who are saying two different things, then that's their own fucking fault. They shouldn't have given one of them a deal. Should have said, well, I believe you and don't believe you. You get a deal, you don't.
We're running with this one.
Yeah, not we give you both deals and we'll shake it out and see what happens in court. So their main this is their main differences here of statements. Willie suggested, he said at his proffer that Melissa was actively involved in the Sproats murder. Melissa said that she was miles away when the murder happened and that Brown had committed the murder alone and then drove over and they were waiting for him to dig the hole. Willie claims that the motive behind killing John originated from pornographic pictures of Melissa's oldest child found on John's computer. Okay. And there is some shit to back this up. Melissa also says that it was a battle between Linda and John over material possessions all the time. Arguments ensued about John's alleged abuse of his granddaughter, and there was a visit by the Division of Family Services to John's house investigating alleged abuse.
Oh, no.
Evidence also established that this is another thing, that John and Linda had a giant outdoor argument in the front lawn over a lawn ornament a week before John's death.
Yeah.
They fought tooth and nail in the front yard about a lawn ornament.
A lawn jockey?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. We can't put a black one up, God damn it. Just paint it white. Something, I don't fucking know. So yeah, they ended up, both plea agreements were taken, obviously. Also, 4 days into jury selection and before the opening statements, prosecutors requested a conference with the trial judge. At the conference, prosecutors disclosed a, quote, ethical dilemma. They professed they believed Brown was lying about the Sproats murder. The prosecutors told the trial judge that they did not believe Brown because they credited Melissa's statement that she was miles away when the murder occurred. They believed that. They took it upon themselves to basically figure out what they wanted the jury to see in all this, and they called it an ethical dilemma. And they could have called Brown and asked him about the whole thing. And you might ask, why doesn't the defense just call Willie Brown?
Right.
They do, and he takes the fifth. So,
oh, really?
Says, fuck you. I'll testify for the prosecution. That's part of my deal. I'll testify for them. But if you call me, I ain't got to say shit. It incriminates me. Fuck you. Which is crazy because he already pleaded guilty to all this shit. So, and proffered something. It's fucking nuts. So, this is crazy. So, they ended up, like we said, declining to admit Brown's plea deal and his proffer, Willie's deal, into evidence. And they said that, that's it. You're not going to have that. That's what ended up happening in the trial. Now, Brown became unavailable to the defense, like we said, because he took the fifth, and the state entered into an agreement with Brown about testifying. So that was the only thing he was legally bound to do. Yeah. Now, also, she claims she didn't get access to juror information, which is weird. Yeah. She claims that her due process rights were violated because the state had access to jurors' criminal records, and the trial judge improperly denied her access to the information. She doesn't claim that she should have access, but she claims that neither should the state. And if the state has it, she should, and if she doesn't, nobody should, basically.
That doesn't mean you got an unfair trial.
That doesn't mean, but it's adding to it. Now, the judge, the Supreme Court, rules that her trial was unfair based on the Willie Brown shit.
Right.
They overturn her decision. They overturned the death sentence. So that's a kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Overturned the death sentence, and she's up for a new trial now.
Okay.
Now, she could get the death sentence again.
Yeah.
It's still on the table, but she's up for a new trial.
Okay.
So March of 2007, the retrial is to begin.
Okay.
This time, Melissa refuses to testify.
Melissa is out.
Melissa will not testify. Her lawyer said that Melissa told the court she did not want to be involved in the case anymore. She said she did what she had to do as part of her deal, testifying once,
right,
and she doesn't want to testify against her mother ever again. Her lawyer said, quote, Melissa was tired of it, and so now they don't have their star witness, and so they make a deal with Linda. They offer her a deal, and she takes it.
And how much is it?
So Linda pleads. We'll find out. She is found guilty of also Melissa for not testifying. They say, actually, your deal says you have to testify in any trial that we tell you to. They find her in contempt of court and add an additional 5 months onto her prison sentence, which is Melissa ended up getting 25 years.
Okay.
So she got 25 years and 5 months.
Got it.
For that. Now, Linda's lawyer said that they were ready to go through with the trial.
Yeah.
They said, quote, we felt like we had a fighting chance for an acquittal, but we didn't feel like we could take that chance. Those are big dice to roll. Which, the death penalty's on the table. So David Sproats, who is William Sproats' brother and also John Charbonneau's nephew.
Right.
So, undo that, fucking unravel that family tree.
She should unsuck those dicks for sure.
He was pissed about this. He said, quote, my brother died for nothing. We feel it wasn't fair to the victims. I feel there was no justice here whatsoever. That's not a good statement from a victim's family there. This was Billy was his younger brother by 10 months. And, he said he was super pissed. Now, the prosecutor, told Sproats' brother, quote, that his hands were tied and that the judge only gave him 45 minutes to make a decision regarding a plea offer. They said either you can offer her a plea in the next hour or we're going to trial. And so he had to, put it together.
Fast.
But David Sproats said, I just feel like my brother didn't get any justice whatsoever. He said, quote, this was not a fair trial. I feel they're sending out the wrong message that it's okay to kill. At most, she'll spend the rest of her life in jail where she'll get 3 squares a day and the best medical care and TV and a workout center.
He thinks they got good health care in there?
He made it sound like it was a Hilton, like a DoubleTree or something. The health care is terrible in there. Ask Carmine Persico, the huge mob boss who was sent away in '86 on RICO charges to do life in prison. He just died because he had an infection in his leg, and when they had the government shutdown, they didn't give him his pills anymore.
Oh shit!
That was part of it, the medical care for that, because he's in federal prison. So he didn't get his pills anymore, and the infection spread, and he died. Literally, fucking government shutdown killed Carmine Persico.
Wow.
The Gambinos, everybody, no one could kill a guy, but fucking
Donald Trump did.
Just like that. Wow. So, 2007, after all this, she does end up pleading guilty to second-degree murder in the death of John Charbonneau. The Billy Sproats thing just kind of floats in the wind. They just stick that on Willie Brown. They say they don't really have evidence enough for her. So they just let that go with her.
Okay. She gets second degree.
Second degree. She could receive up to 20 years in prison on this.
Wow.
She could get the least amount of everybody, which is insanity.
Wow.
May 25th, 2007 is resentencing. You, ma'am, may, I guess, sort of fuck off again here. Sentenced to 20 years in prison.
Unbelievable.
For her guilty. She's 59 at the time. She received the maximum sentence, but was credited for more than 4.5 years she already spent behind bars, meaning she will only spend 15.5 years behind bars. She could get out
any day now.
About 2022.
Yeah.
So there you go. 2015. Good news for Melissa. There's an article in Delaware here of like a positive thing of Melissa is in this culinary program in prison. That's apparently a very highly touted culinary program that works with the Department of Education in Delaware to try to.
She's gonna go work in schools and be a lunch lady
for job training. No, this is like high end cooking.
Okay.
Most of the people like in kitchens, like they're all criminals.
Really?
They're all. Fuck yeah.
Well, I knew they were criminals, but I didn't know they were convicted.
Fuck yeah. No, that's a job where they don't give a shit about your background. Can you cook?
Yeah.
Can you Can you last on a fucking line when it's busy? I don't care if you killed your whole family. If you can cook on a line when it's busy, they will hire you. They do not care.
Unbelievable.
It's just the way it is. A lot of times that's a job that people will get to get out of prison, and that's like a work
that
release
makes sense
job.
Why they have so many fucking tattoos on their necks and faces.
Yeah. Read Anthony Bourdain Kitchen Confidential book. He talks about, and in the kitchen he worked in, every one of them, his entire crew are all mostly criminals or prisoners, either immigrants or prisoners or both.
Wow.
That's what it is, basically. Yeah. So, there's an article here that inmates, Melissa Rusinski, Catherine Burton, and Stephanie Parsons are advanced students in the culinary program. They catered a luncheon at a program at the prison that included visitors such as Jill Biden when she was still the second, vice president's wife at that point. And, they said each, hopes to have a career in the food service industry. And the Catherine Burton, one of the students, said about Melissa, she can make a radish taste good, and I've seen her do it. So she's doing very well.
That's all we have is radishes.
That's
she
it.
Makes them great.
She makes them good. June of 2016, Melissa seeks commutation of her 25-year prison sentence.
What?
They tell her, why don't you hang tight till 2020? Yeah. 2020 is when she's expected to be released from this. That's her date for parole. Okay. And she's done well with the programs and all that. They expect her to be paroled. Yeah. So in 2020, John Charbonneau, on the other hand, is buried, good for him, not in the woods or his yard. He's buried at the Holy Family Cemetery in Essex Junction, Vermont. There. And William Billy Sproats here, the third, by the way.
Wow, he's a junior's junior.
He's a junior's junior.
Trey Sproats.
Ooh, Trey. He is buried at the Galena Cemetery in Galena, Maryland, in Kent County. There. And that, my friends, is Bridgeville, Delaware.
What a story, James.
And that is a fucking mess.
Unbelievable.
That is a twisted up tree of disaster is what that is.
Jesus.
A twisted tree of disaster. That's a good name for this episode. Holy shit.
Wow.
That
is too much.
The Charbonneaus, Rudinsky, Willie Brown.
Everybody's fucking everybody.
Everyone's fucking and marrying, and people are racist and
kids
killing,
everywhere.
and everyone's got 3 kids, and this is a goddamn mess. Wow. People are buried in other people's yards.
That's the most bananas part.
Goddamn disaster. Wouldn't it have been amazing if they buried Charbonneau in Sproats' yard? That would have been maybe they killed each other and buried each other in each other's yards. It's weird as fuck. They did it like backwards. They meant to bury John in his own yard and Willie in his own yard, and they did it. They're like, did you put... Oh, shit. I fucked it. Oh, man, where's the shovel? Shit. Where's the shovel, Melissa? Melissa, where's the fucking shovel, man? Come on. I'm trying to dig somebody up. The fuck?
That story is just as believable as the other one.
It's the whole
the
thing
dude's
is
already dead.
The whole thing's bonkers, dude. The whole thing is fucking bonkers.
At that one spot where you said she could make a radish taste good, because the prisoner saying it, I thought she was going to say something like she could make rat shit taste good.
She can make rat shit taste good.
And I've seen her do it.
I've seen her do it. It ain't bad, I gotta tell you. Didn't want to eat it, but...
Sprinkled it on a radish. Delicious.
That's how you make a radish delicious. Sprinkle it with seasoned, infused rat shit. It's an herb infusion she adds to it. It's very light. It's nice. It's basil. There's a touch. I think it's mint. I believe it's mint, and I know dill. I can tell dill when I taste it. I like a little dill in there, to be honest.
There's a little scrapple in it.
A little scrapple in there. Watch out for the scrapple. That's the crunchy part.
It's a delay taste.
It's the crunchy parts. The You're like, what's in here? I tend crunch. Oh, scrapple. There's scrapple in here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that is Delaware. Stay the fuck away from Bridgeville, Delaware. Let's just say that, because that is a goddamn mess over there. Yeah. What a disaster. Jesus Christ. If you like that show, I got an idea. Yeah. I know what you can do. You can go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, the purple icon, and you can give us a review, because it really, really helps us a lot. Really, really helps out the show a ton, drives us up the charts. It feeds the funky algorithm that iTunes needs to survive. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, please rate and review on there. It helps us on the charts, which helps us with advertisers and everything else. It really does help us business-wise. So do that. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com. shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes.
You don't need to go anywhere else. You should go there. We should get a news feed there too, so you don't have to go to any other websites. You just go to shutupandgivememurder.com. You can read the news and find out what we're up to.
Facts and shit.
Make it your homepage. That's all there is to it. But shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get all of your all of the merchandise, cool items. We have a bunch of new shit on there all the time, so keep checking out the site for that. Ringtones. Okay, here's the deal. Made the ringtones, posted the ringtones, and first they told us that our artwork was wrong somehow, which it wasn't, but we said fine. And then they said that you can't have that because it's a sound-alike song. And they think it's a sound-alike song of our fucking show, which it is because it's our fucking show.
That's what they think it sounds like?
So I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying. They're saying that we stole the song from our show and we can't sell it. Meanwhile, it's our fucking show and our song, so we can sell it. There's no sound-alike. Right. I made it on GarageBand from a series of notes. Right. So there's not, no one would cut it together like that. It doesn't sound like anything. I cut it together in I had notes that I specifically laid out in my own way. It wasn't even like I didn't take huge chunks of shit. It's not a sound alike. So it's really fucking annoying. I did it on purpose so it would be not anything like anything else. I did literally cut, if there's a note, if there's a wink on this thing, that's one thing that I cut. And then I would cut that and I would edit it in so it wouldn't be the same rhythm as other shit.
Got it.
So it's ours original. That's the point.
Is there any way to like just put them up on our fucking page?
We're going to figure it out. Either way, we'll put up, if the theme songs, if they're going to fight with us and we have to fight with them a little bit, they might take another week or something, but we'll put up something else. I'll put up something. We'll put up something for you guys, but thank you for wanting those. Get all your other merchandise there. Tickets to upcoming live shows. They're planning a giant block of live shows for us until the end of the year.
They're coming.
We're going to do some crime and sports. We're going to do a whole lot of small town murder. We're going to go to cities we haven't been to before. Places like Pittsburgh, St. Louis, places secondary kind of markets that aren't the giant cities, whatever. We're going to be with you guys next. Sorry that Nashville sold out so quickly, but that's an awesome place to play, and shit sells out quickly. And thank you. Sorry and not sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything you do for that. If you want to you can follow us on social media. Also, right from the website, you can follow us at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and that's a good idea. If you want to find tickets to live shows, some of these markets, the shows sell out super fast. They really sell out fast. So if you're a week behind in the show and you listen, to catch up, that shit might be gone by then.
Over.
Places like Cincy and Minnesota, they sold out in a day.
Right.
And Nashville sold out excessively quick. So if you follow us on social media, we do notify you of shows, and that's where everybody got the tickets to Nashville pretty much, was from social media. So follow us and get updates. We don't bombard you. We don't put ads and shit up all the time. We're not going to bother you and clog your feed.
Right.
Just shit you might be interested in. So do that. If you want to be a bigger hero, like one of our producers who we're going to talk about in just 1 second, you can do that excessively easily. You can go to patreon.com/crimeinsports, which is our other podcast, which you should be listening to, and you're crazy if you don't.
Right.
Or you can go over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation, and those links are available from Shut Up and Give Me Murder.
They are?
Everything is available from there, Jimmy. Everything. You can do your banking online. Yeah. Everything from there. You can find out
everything but ringtones.
DNA results. We got it all. Everything but no ringtones. You cannot have the song. Goddamn son of a bitch. So, with that said, Jimmy, there is nothing else to do. But you know what? Dig me a shallow grave, lay me in the yard, and tell me about my favorite people right now.
This week's executive producers are Jessica Monroe, Kelsey Allen, Shauna Rogers, Sydney. Damn it, Sydney Woods. She donated twice.
Thank you, Sydney.
On both Patreon and then on PayPal.
Thank you,
so
Sydney,
much.
not Cindy.
Sydney Woods. She's fantastic. Justin Miller, Stephanie Valentine, and Heather Norton. Thank you guys so much for what you do. We can't do it without you.
You guys are the best.
Georgina. God, let's start that over. Georgina, hello. Georgina Warden or Worden. It's
WOR.
Yeah.
Okay.
God damn it.
Yeah, that's tough.
You get it though.
Yeah, you get it.
Was that Rhodes? Is that Rhodes? No, Gina Warden Rhodes. That's who it is.
Holy shit.
That's what I did.
Wow.
All right. And
Good
Candace
job.
with no last name because I was like, Candace, what? Rhodes, Candace is right. Candace Rhodes. That's what happened. Mixed up the first person. There it is.
Happens.
All right. Joey Conway, Jeanette Keel, Amanda Berrigan, Rashika Valu, Mike Yulk. Uilk. Yeah,
Uilk.
Mike Uilk.
Good job,
tough,
Mike. Thank you, Mike. We were sorry to mock your name.
Joel Hodder, Flo Gaitan. I looked at that one for a minute. Like, is this like words that I'm supposed to try to find a joke?
Yeah, is there a pun in there? No.
It's just Flo Gaitan. Thank you, Flo.
Thank you, Flo.
Louisa Williams, Callie Shinkunis, that's the one. I nailed it.
Nice job.
3 times the time.
Thank you.
Andrea Papa George, Hunter Perry, Casey Huffman, Natalie Zanotti. Okay, hold on. Natalie Zanotti. Natalie Zinoviev, that's what it is.
There we go.
Thomas Smith, Janice Hill, Alexandria Rowland, Reagan Schalke, Thomas Smith. I said that. Samantha with no last name. Brenda Nables. Andrew Weigand is back, or Wiegand. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm doing my best. Susan Brandt. Adrian Thomas, who donated under Censorship Works, which is hysterical. But also, her husband got a new job, so congratulations.
Hey, congrats. Thank you.
Pong Sot. Mike Palma. Yes. Tegan Bakers. No, that's not it. Damn it. I don't know what I did there, but it's not Baker. It's Baker. Just Baker. Eamon Clements. Aaron Johnson. Jesse Hartman. Lance Robillard, Desiree Josephine, Carol Braun Sweet. Carol Braun donated, and then she used to donate a lot, and then she just came back and she wrote something really, really sweet. That's what
that's why you wrote sweet next to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carol Braun, thank you. Allison Morris, Whitney Gregory, Michael Bretz, Jovan Kennel, Yacinda Minor, yes. James Fraker, yeah. Allison Speltz. Why do I got to talk myself into it? Pete Cowley, Eric Langenecker, Michael Chase, Haley Gottfried, Stacy Rushworth, Clay Thorson, Charles Carpenter, Gary Howard, Rishi Deshpande, and his wife Shannon Weaver.
Wow.
I think I got it. Jesse Lortz, John Erickson, Under the Sea Fabrics, Brian Dennis, Caitlin Enright, Stephanie Peterson, Amber Bennett, Mackenzie Parrott, Leroy Walker. That's what it is. And I saw his name, and that sounded like a football player. Tara Mariko, Jana Wellhouse, Jess Cox, Gina Miller, Karen, not a grim bitch, Lewis,
Karen,
Minda Moya Reynolds, Andrea with no last name, Derek Shaw, James Martyr. That's I need to explain that. Jessica McKinney, Ashley Vio, Christopher Hart, Brad Peters, Jordan Moser, Leo Sacamandi. Leo, or is it Lou? It's probably Lou Sacamandi.
Okay.
Anthony Renaro, and his wife, or his girlfriend, Zoe.
Thanks, Anthony, and your girlfriend. Appreciate it.
Zoe Badnasak.
Go buy that nice lady some linguine with clams and take her out for a nice night. What are you doing?
Bednasak.
There you go.
Okay. Bednasak. Christina Loridson, Lauren Demarath, Jesse Pitts, Danielle Leonardis, Kenya Green, Big Rig Rick, and the homies down there at Homestead in Florida.
Oh, cool.
Thank you guys so much.
Guys.
And they were the ones that said that they're all guilty.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm in a lot of trouble trying to pronounce this. I'm in Aklagi. I'm in
Wow, that's a good name you got there.
I'm in. You're killing me. Stephanie Huron, Brant Madison, Susan Gable, Billy Johnson, and Jackie Edmiston. You guys are fucking incredible, and I'm terrible at reading.
The best goddamn people in the world. Yeah. Thank you guys for everything you do for us, for all of your generosity, for whether it's money or you send us gifts, or even if you just, tell your friend about it, or you tweet about it, or you give us a review on whatever platform you're listening to.
And then the time you take every week. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then listen to the show. Thank you. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us and being on this incredibly weird journey of of funny murder. So thank you guys for that. And what if you wanted to tell Jimmy about his funny murder? How could they tell you, Jimmy?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And stop asking why I do. Look, I don't care about me, and I think that it's hilarious that people take themselves very, very seriously with their so and so's comedy. Like Twitter handles and such. I don't like me. funny, and I'm just being honest.
It's just a fucking self-deprecating comedian joke.
So much easier just to.
If you were a comedian, you'd understand.
Right.
It's just easier.
What it is. Where can they tell you they like you?
And mine's kind of the same thing in the opposite. Mine is go fuck your mother. It's not. Mine is at Jimmie P is funny because I'm like, hey, fuck you. There, how you like that? It's kind of a sarcastic thing. There, you want to know I'm a comedian? There you go, asshole. Who cares? So, at Jimmie P is funny. You could follow me on there. Or copy and paste my last name from the show description because you won't spell it right, and it's not really worth learning. I had to learn Charbonneau. You don't need to learn Pietragallo. Let's all just relax and chill the fuck out and keep coming back week after week. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.